Says it's streaming. Hey, what's up, guys? Jerry here, aka Barnacules, and I'm here with John Bach right here and Mr. Houston. Did I get that correct?
Yeah.
The Beardosaur here. And we're actually going to be building a high-end gaming PC for my bedroom. It's an HTPC, very small form factor. And John here owns the company, so of course we had to put him in the video too. And we have Graham Lang from Volair rocking the laptop, the new laptop they actually just built for me that I will also be doing a video on. So pretty much expect a lot of Puget System videos. So if you don't like Puget System, I'm sorry, you're gonna get a lot of Puget Systems videos. So first I'm gonna ask Graham over here from Volair, who is on the stream. How are things working over there? Does it look like we're not dropping frames?
We're looking good.
Audio's good?
Audio looks good.
How's the chat look? Are people in the chat going, oh my god, I can't hear him?
Good. They said we want wall. We want wall.
We want wall.
So
I mean,
What does that mean?
Oh, that is a good wall.
that's a pretty big wall.
I like the wall.
No, this is the thing, John, you have to understand about YouTube, is that people want attention in the chat, and the way that they do that is by spamming large blocks of ASCII characters.
Oh.
Now, just so you know, Graham over here does have a ban hammer. So if you get a little too crazy in chat, all Graham has to do is right-click on your name and be like, boom! And then you got to go create a whole new YouTube account to come back and troll me again. So you're not going to want that. So we should probably get started, because this is going to take...
It'll take a while.
It'll take a while.
Yeah.
It's definitely going to take a while because this guy's beard gets in the way a lot. So we actually have two compositions for you right now. This is probably the most sophisticated live stream I've ever done, and we literally finished setting it up moments ago. I'm not even kidding. It took 15 minutes to set up the live stream. This has got to be like a new record and actually have it work.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
So does audio quality still seem good? Anybody complaining?
there's a little delay in the audio.
Oh, there's always going to be a little bit of a delay.
Looking good.
That's fine. It's just that's how it works. Can you go ahead and switch to the second scene, Mr. Graham, and that way we can show everybody that we actually have a wide view of the workbench so you guys can see all of the magic that's going on and pay attention to every detail that Houston is making and critique his everything and every single move in the chat. It's just how YouTube works, man.
Yeah,
It's just how
no.
it is. Trust me, if you did everything exactly perfect, some dude would still tell you that you completely screwed it all up.
Yeah.
I did
That's okay.
see the light blink on the Logitech for a second. Are we still good? Are we getting video from both sources?
We're good.
All right. Well, John, why don't you go ahead and introduce this build?
All
Let
right.
them know a little bit about, like, what to expect watching this video, because they're going to probably be here for a couple of hours.
Sure. Well, so you came to us and you said that you had a home theater PC on the fritz.
I do. Actually, it's been dead now officially for about a month and a
okay.
half. It's completely dead.
So we've enjoyed working with you and we wanted to work with you again. So we have our Serenity PC that is a pretty small form factor. It's like a shoebox size.
Yeah.
And it would make a great gaming PC, but it's also small enough to fit in a home theater and it's portable enough you can take it around to LAN gaming events.
Yeah, you guys we're going to show you the luggage
Yeah.
later. This thing actually packs into luggage that you said can be carried on, right? It's carry-on size?
Yeah, we made some foam inserts for kind of off-the-shelf luggage.
Yeah.
And it's just small enough that you can fit it as carry-on item on a plane.
That's
or it has
awesome.
wheels, you can wheel it around to the LAN party, so it makes it's pretty nice.
Yeah, no,
I've done it a few times myself.
I think that's cool because don't get me wrong, I love William. William is my bread and butter, but boy, that thing is heavy.
It's huge.
Oh my gosh, every time I have to lug William down to PDX land, I mean, I'm like back problems through the roof. So this is actually kind of a nice alternative. It's not as powerful of a machine in some ways, but in others actually, it kind of depends because we're actually going the i7 route on this
A
one,
dual
right?
Xeon really isn't the ideal gaming.
No, and trust me, I caught some heavy flack from the gaming community. It's like, you threw all your money away. It's like, listen, guys, I do rendering while I'm playing games.
Right,
So for Xeon makes sense for that. But if you're just going for something that's purely gaming, less cores, higher frequency
Exactly.
is the way to go.
So that's what we're doing here. So this
Yep.
is going to be a little shoebox-sized PC. It's going to be Skylake processor, 6700K. I think we did 16 gigs of memory, 980 Ti, and we'll go through all the specs as we build it. One of the things that's special at this, at least to us, is it's also a very, very quiet build. Now, obviously, it's a 980 Ti, so when you're gaming, it's going to have to ramp up a little bit there. It's
Yep.
the Asus Strix card, though, so that means at idle, it's going to turn off the fans completely. So
That's awesome.
It's real nice as a home theater because it'll sit there and run as a home theater, nearly silent, and then when you want to game, you can game.
Yeah, and that's fantastic because I'm actually going to be hooking this up to a Seaton cable card tuner to get one of my feeds. I also use Hulu, Netflix, Amazon Prime Video, transcoding server. I'm installing the Synology array, which is going to have my movie archive on it. This will be able to handle all of that. My old computer, boy, it's been dying for a while, but the hard drive finally went out in it, and then the video card died shortly thereafter. I literally replaced the hard drive, and then the video card a week later just went on the fritz, and it won't even post anymore. So I'm very, very happy to get something back in the room. So, okay, let's go ahead and get started here. Why don't we start throwing some parts
Okay.
up here on the bench?
At first,
So
here it is.
So the whole thing's built in the Silverstone SG10 chassis. Boy, we went through a bunch of chassis we looked at, trying to pick what to carry. It's kind of challenging to find one that uses space really efficiently.
Oh, can we bring it over just a little bit?
Uses space really efficiently, is still quiet, really efficient in the way that it does airflow, and still safe to ship around the country, since that's what we do all the time.
Yeah, no, and as a matter of fact, this is actually being shipped to me. I'm not taking this home.
That's right. Yep.
Tonight. They're actually building it here on the live stream, but one thing that Puget Systems does that I really like is once they're done building it, they will not let it leave the premises, not even for me, unless it goes through all of their burn-in testing. So basically this thing's going to go in your little room over there and get all kinds of tender love and care. And then it's going to get tossed into a box and then mailed to me literally like 40 minutes away. Mm-hmm. But it'll be awesome because then I can do an unboxing video for you guys because for some reason the internet just loves it when you bust out the X-Acto knife and bust into that cardboard. We still doing good on the video? I saw another little flash. Just let me know if the video ever goes on the fritz. Guys, this is kind of a highly experimental feed because we're using 2 cameras. We're using OBS, if you guys weren't wondering. Hopefully the audio quality is good. We're actually using a Rode shotgun microphone that's tripod mounted pretty close to us. So this is an interesting experience. But the cool thing is, this is actually all being streamed from my new laptop, which Puget Systems also built. And if you check my Instagram, you'll also see a picture of the machine, literally engraving my logo on it. I would say 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
We literally took it from the engraver over here, set up OBS, set up the camera, set up the audio source, the streaming options, everything, and fired up the stream nearly on time.
That was about 20 minutes.
It was about 20 minutes. I mean, this has got to be the fastest I've ever set up a stream and had it just work. I'm amazed. All right, so what do we got going on? Whoa, that is a big fan.
Since this one's going to be part of the Serenity line, we actually take this out and are going to replace it with little standoffs and a sheet of acoustic foam.
Okay.
It helps keep it really, really quiet.
Dude, that would make an awesome desk fan.
You can take it.
We're
We
going to
take these
jerry-rig that.
We take these out and we don't use them. And not
Really?
for these builds. We actually did testing. So with small form factor builds, it's all about directing the airflow and getting it out of the case. So I believe, Matt can probably confirm if he's here, but I believe we actually found that we're improving the cooling by removing this fan.
If you have a bunch of those fans laying around, that would make a funny jerry-rig video to just zip tie a tunnel of them and hook them to a heavy power source and just create a turbine.
Okay.
If you guys want to see that, put it over in the chat. That's something that I would totally do because I love the jerry-rigged projects to be absolutely ridiculous and almost not practical at all.
So we can't see it on stream, but there's a vent coming out of our support room.
Yep.
And we installed an attic fan. That's just to vent all the heat out of the room. And the attic fan was loud and added vibration. So we did exactly that. We zip tied a bunch of fans together, and that's what's venting our support room.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Don't let the fire chief see that though. Just keep that hidden.
They're
between
good
us.
fan. You know, if you had to buy it, that would be like a $200 fan. But we discard them.
There's so many of my viewers that actually work as electricians that when they see my jerry-rigged, I did a jerry-rigged video on how to make like a lighting fixture from like basically a hard mounting lighting thing without the box and just twisting some wires to it and plugging it into the wall. Mm-hmm. Oh, I've never received so much hate mail from electricians before saying, "Oh my God, you're gonna burn your house down." And then I drilled a hole out to my garage and put a couple of exhaust fans in there because I wanted to heat my garage. So I have my server closet under my staircase that vents into the garage to heat the garage in the wintertime. And they're like, "You can't do that because there needs to be a vapor barrier between the garage and the house if a fire starts in the garage." And I'm just like, oh my God. You can't do anything on the internet without getting criticized. Seriously. But I just keep on doing it because that's how I roll. So what are we doing here?
For these little guys, we have a special front grill that doesn't have the Silverstone logo on it.
So we like a nice, like, understated, clean look.
Did that actually come from Silverstone, or is
we had to buy them?
Wow.
Separately.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah.
No, you guys do a lot of custom stuff. Like I noticed the acrylic mounts. Like if you guys saw the William build, my big Xeon Beast, it actually has like custom standoffs for the graphics cards to support them. Yeah. And you guys, do a lot of stuff with placements of fans and airflow and stuff like that.
There'll be a lot of that goes on in here as well. We
That's
do
awesome.
a custom placement of. Don't we do a fan bracket in here, or do we? Do we not?
Not for
Not a
this
fan
one.
bracket.
Oh yeah, for the CPU cooler though.
That's true.
For shipping, there's a custom cut acrylic piece that will sit on top and hooks over here.
That's cool.
To keep it from wiggling or coming loose during shipping.
You'll see it when we get to that step. That's really nice for us because we can secure the video card, the CPU cooler mainly, really, really well. And we don't have to do any hokey business like putting in expanding foam that you then have to remove once you get the PC.
Right.
You'd be surprised. We do that. We put like a sticker over the power button saying, "Don't power on without removing
You were
the foam."
telling me about that. Yeah.
And people do it all the time.
Yeah, so if you get a system from Puget and it has a giant thing over the power button that says remove the foam from inside, please make sure you remove the foam from the inside.
We've had some people 6 months later like, it's always run a little hot.
They're like, why does it smell like burning? I wonder.
So these don't have that problem at all because we support everything with acrylic. There's no foam we have to do inside at all.
That's awesome. So Graham, while they're doing some teardown here, why don't we field just a couple of questions that are going on either from chat or from Twitter?
Sure. So Derek's asking, what is the best firewall for Windows 10?
What is the best firewall for Windows 10? Honestly, couldn't tell you. All my firewalling's done at my router, so I don't really run a firewall program. Have you guys had any experience with any of the firewall software for Windows 10?
No, I just run the Windows 10 firewall.
Yeah, I mean, there's no real reason to install an aftermarket firewall. There's already one in box that's capable of blocking ports, blocking protocols, blocking by program. So I guess there's really no reason unless you want something that's a little bit more automated in what it blocks.
What was that program? There was a program everyone was using a few years ago.
Zone Alarm?
Zone Alarm.
Zone Alarm. I've heard of Zone
That's what
Alarm.
I used to use a long time. In the XP days, though.
Yeah.
In the XP days. Who knows what it is now, but I guess you could check out Zone Alarm. Another really cool program I'm actually going to be doing a review of pretty soon that really surprised me. The company contacted me, and usually I'm pretty skeptical when a company contacts me and they're like, hey, we want you to try our software. It doesn't always turn out too well. But it was a company that made this piece of software called LimeWire, and it's basically a low-level packet sniffer, but it's packaged in something that's very, very easy for you. Have you used it before, Graham?
LimeWire. Yep.
It's absolutely amazing. It's this beautiful UI. I mean, I don't want to say it, but it looks like something Apple would have made. I mean, it does not look like a Windows application. It looks more like an OS X application. But it's absolutely gorgeous, and it tells you every single connection that every single app's doing, and it has different ways to view the data. So you can say, I want to know how many connections an app is making. I want to know which hosts they're connecting to. I want to know which hosts are being connected to the most out of others. And you can basically aggregate the data however you want and set up your views, and it shows you everything, and it monitors like everything on the system. If an exe or a binary that's loaded into memory registers a new version number, it actually pops up with a notification that says, oh, Steam just upgraded itself from version this to version this. Oh, your NVIDIA driver just uploaded from this to this. And it catches all kinds of crap on my system that isn't giving me any notification that it's updating in the background, especially Adobe products. Adobe products are always updating without giving you any kind of inclination of what they're doing. But it's pretty cool. Check it out. LimeWire is pretty cool, and it does have firewall capabilities built into it too, so it might have something that you want.
So now that we've got the case kind of, at least the initial prep done, we start working through some of the initial testing. I have a checklist here that
Wait, you test stuff before putting it in the case?
The first step is test the power supply, make sure that it's putting out the appropriate voltages.
Actually, here, I'm going to grab this camera right here. Can you give me a wide shot on that, Mr. Graham? Yep. So right down here, you can see they actually have the laptop. It has a whole setup for all of their technicians, basically, to go through step by step so that you don't accidentally miss anything, which I think is pretty cool. Because back when I used to work at a computer store. Mother's Board Computers lasted for like 18 years, that company. Up in Gore. I haven't no idea how they lasted that long, but they did. And I remember we never really had anything like this. We'd just be like, and we'd miss stuff all the time. I'm not even gonna lie. I may have even sent a computer home without a graphics card in it. That's
important to test. You know, we actually just looked at all our failure numbers for the year, just kind of reviewing the year. And I think Matt's over there. Matt, what did you find? So what percentage of parts, like overall, would you say we caught here? Like 75%? 50%?
It's about 1 in 20 maybe to the customer. And, some of those are, after 3 years.
So that's why we test. So 19 out of 20 failures we catch here and prevent from ever reaching the customer.
wow.
And then that last little bit we still have to deal with in tech support.
I never would have guessed that. That's crazy. So that kind of tells you that some of the Q&A going on in places isn't quite up to snuff.
Now, to some extent, like we can
Graham's motioning over there. He's like, I love Houston's beard. That is a manly beard. Houston, may I have permission to touch your beard?
We've had more comments in the chat about how epic the
That's
beard
awesome.
is. People love the beard.
Would you like to help me with my Movember campaign next year? Because I am incapable of growing anything that magnificent.
Yeah.
And if you ever shave it off, I would like to purchase it just so I could wear it
I'll donate. That'll be cute.
on Movember. Oh my God. Okay, so what do we have right here? Looks like you have
We just
tester,
use a
okay.
regular ATX power supply tester. If it's red, that's bad. Otherwise, it's good. So everything looks good so far.
As far as power supplies go, how often do you guys hook that up and actually notice that there is a little bit of a fluctuation or something that's out of spec?
you could probably say better than me, Houston. How often do you find something bad?
I've been here 4 months. I've had one power supply out of I can't tell you how many builds I've done, but one in 4 months that did not work.
So the power supplies are getting tested good at least. I mean, that's a decent failure
Well,
rate.
with power supplies, some other things we'll find is like a tick in the fan Or what we found recently, maybe I'll not mention the brand just out of kindness, but as it gets up to high wattage, so let's say it's an 850 watt power supply, as you get up to like 800 watts,
Yeah.
you start getting this like electrical arcing sound inside. Now all the voltages are still putting out the right numbers, and the machine seems stable. We're like, no, we're not going to ship that.
Is that kind of like the coil whine issue in the AMD graphics cards,
but
where you're playing a game and you hear?
Yeah, it
coming out of your case?
sounded bad.
It was bad.
Yeah, I mean it was not loud, but it just sounded really not. That wasn't supposed to be happening.
I actually have a really funny story on a power supply, and again, I won't name any companies because we're trying to be nice today. And it was an old power supply. Let me be honest. The computer was probably about 8 years old, and I didn't clean it very well, so there's a lot of dust in it. One day I'm sitting there, and the computer just turned off. It was my server. I heard it, and then I heard this zzz, 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 and I was like, what the hell? And I looked down at the carpet, and I could see blue arcing on the carpet, and it was a case that had the power supply mounted in the bottom. I think it was an Antec 900, actually. And in the bottom of the case, I looked around the back, and I could actually see a flame kernel inside the power supply actually burning. It was like looking in like a little gas insert. There was a little fire going on in there. And I didn't have a fire extinguisher or anything, so I got back there and just I unplugged it and started blowing on it like a candle. It took I blew it out like 5 or 6 times to blow it out, and then when I blew it out, just plumes of smoke came out of the back of it. But I mean, it caught fire.
Yeah.
And that always kind of scared me about the power supplies being in the bottom of the case versus in the top of the case. Because if it catches fire in the top of the case, hopefully there's nothing over the top of it and everything's metal, right? But if it's down right next to the carpet and it catches fire. Now, that's the only power supply that's ever done that in its entire life. And let me be honest, I don't think I ever cleaned the dust out of that computer in like 8 years, so I'm pretty sure the inside of that power supply was basically a Furby. But still, I mean, just guys, clean your computers.
Like once a year, at least. Take
Like
it
at
apart,
least
blow it
once a
out.
year.
Yeah.
Got
guys-
a question
yeah.
for Puget Systems. So Will's asking, he's got a Silverstone FT02. Any recommendations on replacement for the 180 millimeter case fans that are quiet? So looking for replacement
180 mil.
Yeah, who makes
That's
180s?
quiet.
Well, do they do 180s?
I think they do.
So we really like Noctua.
I do too.
We did another roundup of fans. Must have been last fall or so, and we listened to Scythe and Noctua and a bunch of other brands. And boy, they're great. We use a lot of their 140s today, and Matt's saying they have 180s, and I don't doubt it. Even if they didn't have 180s, I would even recommend doing a 140 with an adapter.
They have a pretty amazing warranty on them too, don't they?
Yeah.
Isn't the company like 5 or 6 years or something ridiculous like that? Like,
I don't recall offhand. I even want to say it might be 10.
it's years. It's not months. Like most fans have like a 90-day warranty, standard electronics warranty, but Noctua is like years for their fans. And I've never had a Noctua fan fail. I still have like really old ones that are like, probably 8 or 10 years old that still are kicking along because they don't really spit. You don't have to run them at super high RPMs either.
Yeah.
So even though they got a high quality bearing in them, the best way to extend the life of a fan is by RPMs kill stuff. I mean, just generally, even in the car world, even in the automotive world, just
Moving
RPMs kill friction and RPMs kill things, right? So the slower that you can turn the fan, the quieter it's going to be, and their blade design, they move a lot of air at low revolutions. Like on William, I can actually watch the blades spinning on some of the fans. It's spinning so slow that you can watch the blades spin, and you put your hand in front of it, and you still feel a breeze.
Yeah. And these fans do a really good job of giving good airflow at low RPMs and still having a decent amount of static pressure.
Yeah.
We actually ended up being able to collapse our fan line down into fewer models because the Noctua was such a good jack of all trades. And
Gotcha.
boy, the one thing about Noctua though, when you're looking at Noctua, we call them the Band-Aid fans here. It's these Band-Aid
I know.
fans.
Here, can you get a close-up shot on this, Graham? All right. So Noctua fans pretty much all look like this, except for they have a Server Pro line, I think,
They
that's
do.
finally
They
black
have some,
and
like,
gray.
gray and
right?
black, yeah.
Yeah,
They look nice.
The gray and black ones look nice, but for some reason Noctua, for the consumer-grade fans, they're always this nappy. I mean, it looks like 70s.
It has to be a branding decision. Like, you can't look at this fan and not know who it is.
I think it's almost one of those things where it's like they want it to be ugly because no other company would want to emulate
one's
that
gonna copy
design.
that,
Nobody's
yeah.
going to copy it, but
Yeah.
it screams Noctua. And I'll be honest, that's probably the biggest complaint that I got on the build
Yeah.
that you guys did for me is they're like, those fans look ugly. You should have used the black and gray ones, but they were louder. The black and gray ones are considerably louder, aren't they? The server grade
They're
ones?
more geared towards higher RPM,
Right.
higher airflow. Yeah.
Right, so there was a reason, guys. There was a reason to use the Band-Aid fans.
We were close. I mean, yeah, we could have been pushed over the edge on that, but that was the call we made at the time.
Graham, are you hacking my internet over there? What are you doing? Are you talking to people in chat?
I'm just adding a whole bunch of friends on Twitter. I hope you don't mind.
Hey, how about YouTube chat? Let's take a couple of questions if you can read them between the brick
that
walls.
last one actually was YouTube chat. Let's
Oh,
go
okay.
to Twitter really quickly. So Question from TJ: are you going to install any lights in this PC? Any lighting mods?
That is a good question.
So this particular case,
Mr.
doesn't have-
Texas? No, just kidding.
this doesn't have a side window on it.
Right.
So
That's no excuse. We should still put some lights in there. Come on.
all right.
Come on, seriously. Look, I can see
Well, there's a
inside
grill
the
in
case
front. Yeah,
from the
maybe,
front.
Maybe we can mount a light kind of down here and have it shine through the grill.
Yeah.
We need it to be like a disco
that'd be
ball.
interesting. The power supply sits here in this cage.
Oh, you're right,
And,
you're right.
and the
You're right.
fan out of that's going to come right through here.
We'll make a best effort, but if we don't put LEDs in it, when I get home, I'll just take like one of those giant spools of Chinese LEDs that I got in the mail at random, and I'm just going to plug it in and jam it in the side of the case. I don't think that'll affect airflow or anything. I think
We
we'll
actually
be fine.
did. We did. So we brought one of these to PAX, and we put lights in that one.
Oh, you did?
It actually looks really nice with white LEDs.
No, if you did it, I would want white LEDs. I'm not a big fan of colored LEDs. Oh, I know. I'm so sorry,
I'm
but
a fan of blue myself.
you are? See, the thing I
blue.
like about the white is it's just a really it's intense, and the contrast between everything that's always black on these PCs. I really like that contrast.
Sure.
Start bringing blues and reds into
People are
it.
saying that you should do an RGB color shifting in the front.
You be quiet. This is my computer. No, just kidding.
So at this point, we're going to do a motherboard test on the bench here before we put it in.
Yep.
So the CPU's already in, CPU cooler's on. Now we're putting in the memory. What?
So confirmation, this is going to have 16 gigs, right, of memory?
No, these are two 16s.
Oh,
32 gigs of memory.
those 16 gig modules only recently came out.
Awesome. Here, can I get a fist bump on that? Look
You're
at
one of
that.
the first. You're a guinea pig.
I need 32 gigs in this computer, though, because I need to be able to live stream, render, play Fallout 4 in a Skype call. I'm just stacking things on here while I'm playing Netflix in a little window. No, just kidding.
Run some virtual machines.
So another question from James: what's the average cost to build a Puget System PC?
It's changing over time. We're really gearing more and more towards workstations and scientific computing. And holy cow, you can build. When you get into scientific computing, it's intense.
That's some money.
We have some quad Xeons that are like 50K, 70K. It's insane.
Are you on a close-up shot here, Graham?
If you want to pull that cam 2
Yeah.
down, we can show them exactly
I
what's
want
going
to
on
show
there.
something really. Look at this. This is really cool. Man, Graham and his gaffer tape. Jeez. He's so professional. No, I got it.
Okay.
If you guys can see what's going on right here, Houston's actually using hot glue. Why are you hot gluing the fan to the heatsink?
So it doesn't come loose during shipping, or at any point at
So
all.
it's
really.
mounted with wire,
The little
but
clips.
vibration is the killer of this kind of stuff, especially in shipping. And so this just makes sure that fan isn't going to kind of wiggle itself out of the clips.
That is actually really cool.
And we'll be doing this on just about anything that might come loose. Fan plugs, the SATA power plugs on any drives,
Yep.
that sort of thing.
You have to be a little careful with it. There is, you don't want the hot glue to get down into places where you don't want it to be. So we're selective in where we put it.
Is that okay? The angle? Cool. I'm trying to put it back. All right.
But you asked about the average price, and these days I think our average is somewhere in the $3,000 range, $3,500.
Yep.
Again, a lot of what we do is for content creation, workstation type applications like CAD design, engineering. In terms of what does it cost to get into a Puget Systems PC, probably like $1,200, somewhere in that range.
The thing you got to realize, and I get a lot of emails on this, everybody's like, I could build the system cheaper. Well, yeah, you could build the system cheaper, but you need to factor in that they're doing a massive amount of testing here. I mean, they're actually pointing, how many of you have a FLIR gun at home? Mm-hmm. I don't have a FLIR gun, which is forward-looking infrared, if I'm not mistaken. So they run these things through tests, so when it leaves out the door, it's got optimal airflow, it's as quiet as they can make it, and it's reliable. I haven't had any kind of hardware failure at all.
When we catch 19 out of 20 things,
Yep.
you just have to kind of accept if you're
Yep.
building yourself. That's great, actually, by the way. We support people building their own
Yep.
computers.
Yeah, no, and you guys have excellent customer service. That's the other thing, too, is I have a lot of companies work with me, guys. This is the only company I've never received any negative feedback from that's like, customer service screwed me, or they didn't send me a part, or something didn't work and they didn't make it right. You guys are very, very careful about making the experience good for the customer.
We take it seriously. We
Yeah.
have a collection of customer comments on the wall in our conference room. Have you noticed that?
Yep.
One of them is negative, and we did that on purpose. We want to make sure we understand that there's always something we can do.
Well, one thing I learned in the YouTube business also is there's always a negative comment, even when you do everything perfectly right.
Sure.
Like right now, I would say that 5% of the stream, all they're thinking about right now is how overweight I am and how I need to go on a diet. But they're still watching because this is entertaining to them for some reason. You know who you are. And it's probably greater than 5%. I'm just throwing that number out there arbitrarily.
So, good question coming in here.
Yep.
So, why are you guys using DDR4 2133 RAM?
That is a
versus
good
something
question.
faster?
That's a really good question. So we've done testing on what the effective performance is on the different speeds.
Yep.
And we found that as long as you're not using integrated graphics, the frequency of the memory plays a pretty minor role. In general, what happens when you go up to higher frequency, you're going to have to loosen the timings, and it all kind of balances out to within a few percent. I think in some of the more extreme cases, we might see as high as 6%, 5%, something in that range. But what you give up is an extreme amount of loss of stability or reliability in the parts. I mean, we go from I think our average is 0.1% failure rate on memory, up into 20-30% range when you get into the more extreme timings and extreme frequency memory.
Yeah.
So for us, that's not worth 6%. I'm sure there's some cases where that could make a bigger difference, but for us, it's stability first. There's a job to be done with these computers.
Yeah.
And I
No,
got one more question from YouTube if you guys want to answer it.
Of course we want to answer that
For the
question.
Puget Masters.
Nobody wants to ask me any questions. Seriously, guys? This isn't Puget Systems. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Question for Puget System guys. Recommendations for water cooling a fractal node 804. They say are 4790K and or 2 GTX 980 Ti's for reference.
Hey, I got this.
Yeah.
Hoses and a pump and a reservoir and a radiator.
You could go closed loop. The 804 isn't that their kind of this kind of form?
Yeah,
factor?
I think the Note 804 is the little guy. Yeah.
Okay, that's tough. When you get into small form factors and then liquid cooling, I wouldn't be able to answer without a lot.
No, I
more
think at that
research.
point you'd almost need to go with an external reservoir and an external rad mount. I wouldn't want to put a radiator. I mean, I'm just speaking from my own personal experience with building a liquid cooled system. Is even if you were able to put a rad in that system, it's going to be so packed in that system that you're not going to be able to dissipate the heat off of it.
Has Jay done any small form factor liquid cooled builds?
You know what? I think the only thing he did that was really small form factor was his test bench. But that's all an open design. So I don't think he's done anything that's really super small and liquid cooled. Although I know he did build a tiny system like this to take to CES last year. And I don't remember if that was liquid cooled or not.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'd say overall so the whole deal with liquid cooling, and actually I think we talked about this with your last computer.
I wanted a liquid cooled system.
Yeah.
This is funny. Just to give you guys a little bit of context, and you guys can go watch the old videos on the William build. We covered everything, this whole area. If you're interested what this facility looks like, go watch those videos. I will link them in the video description after we're done recording. But I did want a liquid cooled system because the hype was real.
Sure.
I came in swinging. I'm like, man, I want this overclocked beast with everything. And I'll be honest, John talked me out of it. He really did. He was like, we can build a system that's just as fast, more stable, and quieter, actually, and it is. It's a lot quieter. Actually, a lot of people would be like, oh, but liquid cooling quiet because all you have is a pump. Well, pumps hum. Noctua fans spinning at very low RPM
And you still
do
have
not.
fans on the radiators, and you have
Exactly.
cavitation noise of the liquid. Where the whole deal with liquid cooling is you're trying to get heat from someplace and move it someplace else. So especially when you have a small form factor build, you're already not moving that heat very far. Your CPU cooler is venting straight out the back of the case. It's often drawing from a vent
Is that them right there?
really nearby. So
No,
I'd really
no,
actually
that
think
should be
about
a
it.
little
Think
box
about whether
or a
you need
bag.
liquid cooling on a
It's for
small
the
case like that.
motherboard, the standoffs and stuff.
Oh, wait.
What's going on now?
Standoffs? No.
Oh, I seem to have misplaced the.
Oh, no.
Thank you.
Stop the stream! Stop the stream! No, I'm just kidding. I actually want to see what this looks like behind the scenes.
So, another question for Puget Systems.
This actually looks really
Michael's actually building a workstation to run SolidWorks. Should he go with a 6700K or a Xeon E3?
Matt, come answer. so
Come on in!
So Matt just did a whole series. You can look on our website, PugetSystems.com. Look in, there's an articles section at the top. We just did 5 articles on SolidWorks?
We did. I think we're at 4 right now. I'm about to do another one, and then we're probably going to do another 1 or 2
Yeah.
once we get some.
Hope you don't
Fire
mind me
cards.
calling you over.
Yeah,
here.
come on over here.
Yeah, I have
say
no
hi.
idea where the camera is.
Say hi. It's right there with the blue
There we
lights.
go. All right. So it was Core i7 versus Xeon E3, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Between those two,
Updating the BIOS.
it
now.
depends on how high end you
can't
want to
believe you
go.
guys get that
If you want to go with the
That's
absolute
crazy.
fastest you can get, you're going to need to go with the 6700K
Actually.
because the E3s don't have as high of a frequency
I'm gonna
ceiling.
have to rotate this.
If you're going to be going
Oh,
mid-range
because
type,
the graphics card? Yeah.
then
No,
the
for
E3s could be a
for
good one because they're
combination
about
of
the same price as the Core i7s,
bracket
but then you can do
and,
ECC memory if you wanted to.
I'm gonna have to lower
So
the
if you're
fan
going to
a
do
little bit so
ECC
it's
and you
flush
want
with
that
the
extra little
top,
bit of
I'm gonna have to
stability,
break my glue when you
or
do that.
reliability rather,
you want to put a
than
little piece of tape
Xeon
over it?
E3. You want the fastest you can possibly do. Core i7 6700.
No, go ahead. Whenever
But-
you're ready,
but the
just get
ultimate-
after it.
the
We'll just,
ultimate
we'll
is
just keep
like-
fielding questions.
Yeah, no worries.
You want frequency.
Yeah.
You don't want a bunch of cores.
frequency.
You want frequency for
Yep.
SolidWorks.
SolidWorks is almost entirely single-threaded. Simulations are multi-threaded, but the efficiency is really bad. So quad-core highest frequency is going to give you the best performance. The only thing that is not is rendering, where rendering you just throw cores at it. It's almost perfectly efficient. But if you want to get better performance, we're also doing an article right now on doing network rendering. So you basically build a cluster out of all the other machines in your house, and it's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
So if all you're doing is rendering, dual Xeon will still be better. But if you just want to double the speed of your renders or triple them, you just throw this client on everything. And as long as you have subscription service to SolidWorks, it's free.
It's funny how, coming from a software development background, multi-threaded programming is not a trivial thing to achieve. It really isn't.
Yeah.
Because the whole idea is in order for you to load 2 cores or 4 cores or 8 cores equally, you have to divide the workload so that you don't have one process waiting on another process. And that's exceedingly difficult, especially when you're working with something like 3D rendering, 3D modeling, or video production, where you have to reference the same content from all the different operations, which means one operation effectively still has to wait for at least one operation another one is trying to achieve.
Well, in a lot of the modeling programs, it's all, I can't remember the right term.
Is it
But
procedural?
Yeah, procedural,
Yeah.
I think is what it is. So in order to know where this point is, you first have to figure out where this point is, and then after that, then you can go to that point. So you can't really multi-thread.
Yeah,
that.
like if you run something
It's not
multi-threaded and you ever open up like Task Manager and you notice that not all the cores are operating at 100% or some cores are operating higher than others, what's happening there is there's something called a wait operation that's going on. You basically have a thread effectively waiting for one of the other cores to finish doing something. And that operation going back and forth is what lowers the efficiency. A good sometimes it's unavoidable. You simply can't achieve 100% efficiency. But like for instance, a bad example of this, I'm sorry for picking on Adobe. I just love picking on you guys, even though I depend on your software horribly for my career. But Adobe Premiere, you'll notice, it struggles really bad with utilizing a lot of threads when you're encoding.
Yeah.
But it does a great job of utilizing a lot of threads in the timeline and in the preview.
I've actually got an even better one. After
Yep.
Effects. The very latest version of After Effects.
Yeah, okay.
They completely broke multi-threading. So like if you have a dual Xeon, like your
Yeah,
system, if
yeah.
you use After Effects, you're going to get worse performance by using both of your CPUs
no.
than by one.
Oh no! And the funny thing is about programs that have plugins like After Effects. This is
Yeah.
another thing: is the person that programmed the plugin is what dictates the multi-threaded nature and efficiency of that program, not the person who wrote the program that consumes that plugin.
Yeah.
And a great example of this is in Adobe Premiere and even the internal plugins. This is the funny thing because you got to realize the company, different people are
all
making
different.
different things, right? So the flip, there's a flip transition. And Adobe. And if you use that flip transition, you'll notice that during encoding times, at about the points where you use the flip transition, it'll drop down to 1 core momentarily and then go back to all multi-core again. Because when the encoder hits that, it basically says, I don't know how to split up this operation because it's basically frame by frame changing one image. There's no way to divvy up that workload because the next frame depends on the previous frame. So it drops down to 1 core. So if you use that one effect over and over and over and over again, it slows your render down time dramatically.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, a lot of other things go really, really fast that seem like they're much more complex operations, like the other transitions where it's like a block. That one like maxes out
It's
all the
all-
CPUs. So it's all relative to whoever programmed that plugin and how effective that program is at dishing out a workload that's not dependent on each other. Like scientific operations are great because scientific operations, you can say, core 1, I want you to process the numbers 1 through 100. Core 2, I want you to do 100 through 200.
Yeah.
They don't depend on each other at all, so they can all operate at maximum frequency. Now, if you did something that's like, hey, core 1, I want you to process every even number, and I want the other one to process every odd number, but the other core has to determine what the odd number is based on the first one fixing, and they had to trade back and forth.
Then there's no way to multitask.
There's no way to multitask that. Basically, if you spread that across 2 cores on the CPU, one core is going to go 100% 0, the other one's going to go 100% 0, and they're just going to do this, and you're ultimately still going to get 50% utilization over those 2 cores.
Yep.
Sorry, that's probably way beyond.
That is way behind.
Good question. You hit
John,
a
we
nerve
can
there.
say anything we want on this
That would
stream.
be a good question if you asked about Core i7 versus Xeon E5.
Hey, did you guys know I used to work for Microsoft? That's like that's a running joke now on my YouTube channel. Everybody's like, "Wait, you worked for Microsoft?" Don't worry, guys. They didn't like me, so now I just bug Puget Systems all the time to get my tech fix.
So where are we at now? Did it pass? So we did a post test on the
Right. Post test, the post was good and updated BIOS, so that's all ready to go. Just getting the kind of core components put in here now. Power supply.
wow, that's kind of cool. The power supply is just mounted right there in the front.
So it draws air.
No.
No, and that's perfect
that's-
because
that's-
this is going in a cabinet.
That's,
so,
that's it, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's right.
No, that's a really cool
That's
design.
a good point. That's a good point.
This camera up here,
Just
or
push the case back a little bit. And so it's a full
like that?
Perfect. Thank
all
you.
right. Just trying to make your life hard there, Houston. I'm sorry.
Oh no, it's okay.
So, do we have any more questions? How are things going in chat? Nobody's complained about the audio or the video?
There's a lot of questions. There was a little bit of an audio hiccup for a second ago, but we're all fixed with that.
Dude,
We
that's
have a
awesome.
question for Puget Systems.
Oh, big surprise
what are your
there.
opinions on passive CPU cooling, e.g. CPU heatsink with no fans, and would you advise using it in an SLI system or high-performance system?
Passive cooling in an SLI system? No, I wouldn't advise that. I wouldn't advise passive cooling overall, even with video cards or CPUs. Now, there was a time I absolutely would have, especially on GPUs, and we actually sold quite a few. In fact, we were one of the biggest proponents to companies like Asus and Gigabyte to continue to sell passive video cards, but they just had a big problem with people not ventilating their cases properly, and they're burning through video cards, and so it was a huge headache to those guys. But today, the reason I don't recommend it is because there's such good fan ramping. You can ramp your fan down. You can turn off your fan under a certain temperature and then turn it up. So keep the safety and keep the ability to turn on the fan when you need it, and just let the fan turn all the way off when you don't need it. I'd advise going that way instead of going completely fanless.
I had a passively cooled system, and another observation that I made was because the air moves so slow over the surfaces, because you're basically just dealing on the pressure change from the heat rising, I noticed that dust accumulates a lot faster.
Interesting. That makes sense.
I noticed that when you have a fan on there running at even like a small volume, I don't know if it's just because there's so much static pressure pushing through there that the dust doesn't have a chance to settle or burn to the surface of something.
Sure.
But when you're running passively cooled, the surface runs a lot hotter and things move through it a lot slower, so dust tends to accumulate faster.
And then that kind of is like an insulator, and it just gets worse and worse.
Yeah, and it might not insulate over the whole thing, but all you have to do is clog up one side of the heat sink, and you've effectively neutralized most of its efficiency. So
Interesting.
fans are good, people.
Well,
Fans are real good.
especially for running SLI, you have the potential to put a lot of heat into that system, and I would keep a little safety valve there by having a fan on your heatsink.
And to be honest, even when I run my system really hot, like in a game, trying to push the GPUs at 80 to 100%, the noise isn't horrible.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if you're playing a game, chances are you're going to have headphones on, or you're going to have the stereo turned up, because unless you're playing solitaire.
We have a system. Our quietest system we've built to date was actually Serenity. It was a previous revision of this, actually. It had fans, and we had it rated down at 11 decibels it must have been at load. 11 decibels, I think it was 10 decibels idle, 11 decibels load. You can't.
For people that don't understand that, like, what would you compare that to? Like, what's something that's louder than that?
We have to turn off the monitors because the buzz of the monitor was louder than the system.
The buzz of a monitor.
And this was not like a loud humming monitor.
Right.
This was like a normal monitor. We have to turn off the lights. We have to wait until all the employees are gone. We have to wait for a car not to drive by. It's quiet. We actually sent that system off to Intel. And they have a nice multi-million-dollar lab down in Folsom, California. And we got the testing back, and it just didn't give us any readings. It just had this like non-compliant stamp across the top. I think I might have told you this story before.
Yeah.
And so we called them up, like, what does this mean, non-compliant? And they said, oh, well, it just means you're outside our margin of error. We can't measure this machine.
That's hilarious.
So, I mean, that's with fans. So
their equipment that's designed for detecting sound basically couldn't give any kind of reading on your equipment because it was below their low threshold.
Exactly. So
That's
I
pretty
don't think
insane.
you need to go passive. Use a Noctua fan, and there you go.
When the transformers and resistors on your motherboard are louder than the fans,
That's the biggest problem we have. Yeah, we have to listen for voltage regulator noise on the motherboards on the video cards. And then if there's a platter drive in there, we can actually build really quiet systems with platter drives. But we actually have to set out multiple drives, and we used to actually use a stethoscope on them and pick the quietest drive. We've actually found more recently that if you just hold your back of your hand to the hard drives, you can feel the vibration and still pick out the quietest. So that's another thing. Like if you want to build your own, that's something that we can provide. Is, are you going to buy 3 hard drives and pick the lowest? No, you'll just get whatever you get. But with our quiet builds, we can do that.
Or they complained about the little speck in the center.
That's funny.
Tell them simmer down. There's that thing's always had a speck on it from day one. So all right, guys, I probably should have acknowledged that at the beginning of the stream. I always stream with substandard old hardware that's got specs. No, it's behind the glass. You can't get to it. I'm sorry, guys. I couldn't find the good one. It's all good though. It's all good. No, I was gonna say, as far as the sound of your computer too, you're saying you have to create a completely noise-deadened environment to even hear anything. I mean, if you're getting to the point where you're hearing components hum on the motherboard, you're trying at that point, right? You're reaching. Like, for instance, in my room, I turn the projector on, right? The projector, your hearing constantly adjusts to the level of sound. I mean, below a certain threshold. Eventually, it gets to the point where it's always annoying no matter what, right? But your ears do adjust to a certain amount of noise. You may not realize it, like when you walk into your room and it's quiet, I mean, there's a lot going on there. I mean, the light bulb is making noise. The hum, the 60 hertz frequency from a light bulb. And the funny thing is, the quieter that the room is, the more sensitive your hearing becomes, and you will actually start to detect things. Sure. Like, did you ever see the YouTube video of the guy that went in the world's quietest place in the world? And he was in there for like 40 minutes.
Hearing your heartbeat, right?
He actually could hear his heartbeat, and he could put his hand up to his ear, and he could hear the.
Yeah, it kind of messes with your head a little bit.
And yeah, and he said it actually, and the lights are out, so he can't see the walls. And he said that you lose, because there's no echo, it absorbs every piece of sound that's coming out of you. You can't tell if you're in a room that's this small or a room that's as big as a warehouse, and your brain you start to go crazy.
Yeah.
You literally go crazy from the own sound of your blood coursing through your veins. Can you hear your heart? I mean, unless you have like massive high blood pressure, you just ate at KFC. But I mean, you can't hear your heart normally. And so sound is kind of relative. But the thing is 11 decibels, you're not going to notice the difference between 0 decibels and 10 decibels or 11 decibels in a normal listening environment standing more than, a half a centimeter away from the computer.
Right. A lot of people who get those just really want it. They really appreciate quiet.
Yeah.
Or we sell a lot into recording studios.
Yep.
And heck, I mean, even if your computer's in your bedroom and you're off in the countryside, I could see, wanting something really quiet.
Oh, my old computer annoyed me really bad. I had
It's not like white noise that helps put you to sleep.
No, it had those little fans, and the smaller the fan is, the higher the pitch the sound is. So whoever designed the case, I don't even know who made the case. Like, I can't find any branding on this case. But they use those little, what are they, 80 millimeter? No, not 80 millimeter, like 40.
40s, yeah.
Like the 40s, and they're really thick, so they got a crazy blade pitch on them. Yeah. And you turn the computer on, it's just like, and that's all you hear.
In one-use servers.
No, bigger fan turning slow is going to be a lot quieter than smaller fan turning very fast. And that's one of the things I like. I noticed a lot of cases are doing that now, though. Like, all cases now seem to be...
140 seems to be taking over now.
Yep, 140, which is funny because before that it was 120. Before that, remember back when everything had 80 millimeters everywhere?
Yeah.
And it's like, I think it's because they're realizing that, one, the fan lasts longer when it turns slower. It's a lot less noisy. I don't know about power consumption. I'm kind of curious what the efficiency would be on something big versus small. If you guys know anything about that, leave it in the comments. I'm just personally curious about that. If a bigger fan is more efficient than a smaller fan. I guess there's probably a lot more factors that go into that, but I'm curious. So Houston, how are we doing there, boss?
Oh, pretty good. It's all installed. I'm just getting the front panel wires plugged in here now. Reset switch, power button.
Okay.
That kind of thing.
Do we have a tight shot here to make Houston all uncomfortable? He's plugging all this stuff in?
Yep, let me get in there. There we go.
This is a good time for that shot. You can really see what's going on.
Probably getting in the way.
So maybe just explain what you're doing and...
So in all the motherboards, there's a set of pins. Right, it's usually in the bottom right-hand corner as it sits in the case. Sometimes they're labeled, but once you've done a few of them, you kind of know the pin setup after a while.
I have an interesting question. So is that pin setup pretty standardized?
Across Asus, at least across brands, aren't they pretty standard?
I'd imagine. I was just kind of curious because I've noticed that when I've bought a couple of motherboards in the past, they started coming with these little standoffs.
Yeah.
That you hooked all the wires on, then you plug that onto the motherboard.
Those are handy because you don't have to get your hands down in the case. You can do it all out in the open.
That makes sense.
Now, we don't use those, do we? I think it's just another point of failure, another point of disconnect.
I don't. I've not been.
We just hire people with really small hands.
Yeah.
Well, that's the other beauty of buying a computer from you guys. Is anytime you want to upgrade it or you want to change something, you just throw it back in the box and mail it back to you and let you guys deal with it.
Sure.
So maybe just a quick opportunity to maybe talk about Puget Systems really quick. There's a lot of questions about what is Puget Systems, kind of what you guys do.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people know exactly what
Sure.
the company is.
So people want to know about Puget Systems. Also, can you guys confirm in the chat if you can hear Graham back there? I'm curious because the Rode mic is pretty directional. And then will I let you completely pimp Puget Systems? I'm going to go back here and check on Graham and see how the chat's looking.
Well, so we do what you're seeing right now for a living. We take... Well, no, I guess it even starts before that. So we work with people and... What can you...
We have 3,695 live viewers right now.
No pressure.
I wish I hadn't looked at that. Hey, Houston, we got about 3 times as many viewers as I thought this stream was going to get. Oh, my God.
That's cool. All right.
It's the beard.
Oh, my God. All right, sorry, John. Go ahead and continue. That just came as a little bit of a shock to me.
So we work with people that do SolidWorks or CAD or Premiere or gaming or whatever it is. And we do a lot of studying to figure out, okay, what's the optimal hardware to run for that configuration. So we work with people and we take their budget, we take their use case, and we configure a machine just for them. and then we build it, and we test it, and we ship it, and we support it, and so that's just what we do for a living. So we're here in Auburn, just south of Seattle. We ship all around the nation. We ship to Canada, Australia, the UK, and we really what we're really passionate about is doing that testing to make sure we're not selling you something that isn't optimized for your application, and optimize it. And then we like making quiet computers and high quality computers.
I'd say that's one of your biggest emphasis. Every time I talk to you, it's always quiet.
Quiet's kind of an addicting thing. You get one quiet computer, and then you never want to go back, and you just want to go further down the rabbit hole.
It's
So-
like overclocking. It's like the opposite of overclocking.
Yeah.
JMD Supra is actually asking.
I know that guy. That's been a long time follower of
You
mine.
actually was curious if there's going to be a Barnacules Nerdgasm version of this build available through Puget Systems.
Yeah, John. Is there going to be a
Would you
Barnacules
so-
Nerdgasm
so-
I guess that's the
version?
question.
Well,
yeah.
what would that even be? So this is our Serenity. You could configure. You can go to our website now. Go to Serenity, and it's a small form factor one. You can configure it just like we're building right now.
I will have a link to this exact computer in the video description.
So the only
later on.
difference would be the Barnacules etching. And if that's what you're talking about, if it's just the etching, yeah, as long as you're cool with that.
I'm absolutely cool with that. So, guys, if you want to buy my exact same system or a variant of my system and you just want the Barnacules Nerdgasm logo on the front, sure.
The hard part, really, with all the etching is to adapt the logo and make sure it etches well and do a test etch and all that. We've all done all that.
That's done. And you guys are going to see that live on the stream. If you later on, we're literally going to wheel a cart over
everything
with
is
the
on
cameras.
a cart right now.
Yeah, everything's going over to the laser etcher, and you guys are going to see the logo go on. This is kind of like a final part of the build. And also, guys, if you haven't had a chance to tweet the stream out and you think that you have friends or something that would be interested in seeing this thing being built live, this is actually kind of a unique thing.
3,000 isn't enough.
This doesn't, no, 3,000 is enough. Let's try to get 10,000. Because Houston deserves it. Look at that beard. That beard is magnificent. If you guys have friends that are beard enthusiasts that don't even care about computers, go tweet this stream to them right now. Or Facebook it, Instagram, Reddit, Tumblr, 4chan, Pinterest. I'm just kidding, 4chan.
no,
Not 4chan. Not 4chan. But now, of course, they're going to do it. I think that's all the major ones.
Do you guys ship internationally?
We do. We ship right now. It's in. We're working on it. Right now, absolutely, we do
Hey, Houston,
Canada,
what's your
Mexico.
Snapchat?
Those are easy. We do Australia and the UK. We're actually partnering with a company here in Auburn called Clear Freight, and because shipping is difficult, international shipping is difficult. There's a lot of compliance issues and logistics. So we're partnering with them, and they're going to take us to another 60 countries. So that's coming on our
Wow.
website really soon. We were actually holding off for the new year to really start that project. Well, we know who our partner's going to be. We have all the pricing lined up. We just haven't thrown the lever yet, and we're planning on doing that in January. So if you're not in the UK or Australia or somewhere else, stay tuned. It'll be coming really soon.
Customs is a tricky beast. I've
Yeah.
dealt
Yeah.
with it. The more specific you are, the less problems you have. But if you try to ship something through customs and you're like, box full of electronic goods, yeah, good luck seeing that ever meet
as
its
we
destination.
do silent builds, and as we especially do scientific builds, there's a lot less people that do that, and so we see more and more demand for international. But unfortunately, as you also get into really high, like quad Xeon, multiple Tesla cards, there's a lot of export controls that come into place because they don't want these things like controlling missile trajectories. So they
Yeah, because the
keep-
processing power is ridiculously high, right?
It's
And the Tesla cards. Do you want to tell them a
ridiculously
little bit about those too? Because we were talking about some machine learning stuff
yeah.
that we may actually bring to the channel. Because a lot of you guys seem to really like the Bitcoin stuff that I did with ASICs because it's all about power and efficiency and processing power. I mean, that's what you get with Bitcoin mining too, using ASICs.
Sure.
Well, the Tesla is a much more sophisticated card that's
Yeah.
much higher power and designed
Think
just
of
for
Tesla.
science.
So you have GeForce cards. Everyone knows GeForce cards
Yeah.
probably on this channel. So think of Tesla as
Except for the AMD fanboys. There's like 3 of them in here, I'm sure of it.
Tesla is like the I don't know what you call it, the professional version of that. It's not necessarily faster. In fact, it's probably slower, but it's designed for 24/7 operation. It's validated for more applications. So really what our advice is if you're in development phase with your project, if you're writing code and testing code, get a GeForce card. Don't spend $300 on a Tesla card when you can get it, a 980 Ti.
Right.
So do all that testing, and then once your project goes into production, you're building out like a server farm of all these things. That's the time. Okay, now you need to go Tesla.
When reliability is the difference between losing a lot of money
Yeah.
or success, then you want to spend
These
extra money on
GeForce
it. Yeah.
cards weren't made to run 24/7 in scientific
Yeah.
applications. They're more prone to giving inaccurate results.
Yep.
In fact, we did a study on that. Dr. Kinghorn did a study showing like, hey, if you do this wrong and you introduce some error into your calculations, you can just get totally wrong answer.
Well, it just runs away. If every calculation is based on the one previous and it deviates every once in a while, I mean,
Yeah.
theoretically, you end up completely in the wrong ballpark at the end of that. equation. So that's unacceptable.
It's not just like a rounding error. It gets way off into left field.
I actually know quite a few people in cryptocurrency, because that's something that I've played with for a long time. They used to use the GPU miners. Like, they actually used to use like ATI Radeon cards and NVIDIA GPUs and stuff to mine back when it made sense, right? It doesn't now against the ASICs.
Sure.
But I remember they would fry these cards constantly.
Oh, they burn them up, yeah.
I mean,
but you know,
yeah.
even when you're in development, there's even some developers we say like, get a GeForce, and when it burns up, replace it. Because how many GeForce can you buy for the price of one $3,000 Tesla?
That's
card?
true.
So
That's true.
when uptime isn't a need, it's just performance and development time. Yeah, just the GeForce cards. But then when you're in production, no, you don't want down.
Do you guys build anything with the Quadro cards in them?
Yeah. So, in fact, SolidWorks. We were just talking about the big deal with Quadro is validated applications and applications that were written specifically for the Quadro drivers.
Okay.
It's often going to be for the dollar, you're going to get way lower performance out of Quadro for the dollar. But what you do get is a validated application that just works. And when you're an engineering firm and you're outfitting 20 employees with SolidWorks workstations, you don't want to be monkeying around with like duct taping GeForce cards to try to make them work in the code. You want it to plug in,
Right.
you want it to work.
Do you know if there's any driver development differences in there? Has NVIDIA like stayed that? 'Cause I know the Quadro drivers are a different part of the unified architecture.
Yeah, and it used to be a lot more. It used to be you'd have Quadro drivers for AutoCAD, Quadro drivers for SolidWorks.
So are you
These-
kind of paying a premium because those are more heavily tested, more heavily vetted drivers than, say, the ones that are releasing
You're buying
every
into
week?
an ecosystem. You're buying into a whole like series of components that were tested to work together.
Gotcha. Gotcha. No, that's actually a really good point to make, because you guys see a new driver coming out from NVIDIA, like literally like every 2 weeks. It seems like a new driver's coming out. And half the time when you look at the change list for that driver, they'll list, fix some minor bugs and improve performance in this game, this game, this game, and this game. I mean, they're quite literally custom building these drivers to give higher performance in certain games. Whereas with Quadro or something that you need to be reliable across everything, you're not going to just make all of these rapid changes.
Yeah, you want to
and
put
fix
it
as you
into
go.
production and just
leave it.
Leave it. Yeah.
So there's your trade-off. You guys ever wanted to know that? It's almost like Xeon versus i7 in a little bit of a way. It's like the i7 is the cheaper alternative, faster core per clock, better for gaming.
Yeah.
But if you're doing multiple operations, 24/7 workload, hammering the thing, Xeon.
In a lot of ways, you know, the way that NVIDIA works is very similar to what I just talked about. They're pushing the envelope on the GeForce side, and they're learning, and they're doing their development, and they're taking risks, and it's bleeding edge. But then they take what they learn, and after it's all settled down, and the dust has settled, and they've done all their learning, then they go and they apply those things into the professional lines.
Oh, that's very, very cool.
So you're not a guinea pig on the professional side.
I feel like we haven't picked on Houston in a while here. So Beardosaur. No,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That is forever your nickname now.
That's okay.
Hashtag Beardosaur. No, so how are we looking here?
Pretty good. Actually, we've got most of the core components. I was gonna put the video card in the top slot, but since we're dealing with this
That thing's massive.
yeah, this enormous Strix card.
huge.
Hey, do you got a close-up shot there,
I
Darren?
have a couple
Okay.
issues with putting it into the top one, mostly because it's gonna hit the the front USB 3.0 cable.
Okay.
And also, it just seems really awful close to the CPU cooler. So, just gonna put it in the bottom since you don't have anything else gonna be taking up PCI.
Sounds good to me.
And I always
Sounds good to me. If it
forget-
catches fire, I know where I'm bringing it back. No, I'm just kidding.
saving you from that. Always. a little
That thing
piece
is
of-
massive.
Yeah,
You
I
guys
think
see
this.
this?
I
Let me
think
see this for a second here.
I think
Yeah,
this is
that
the
I guess, you
biggest
know.
card.
Look at this. Look at this damn thing.
It's an yeah.
So the reason we're having to do this on the fly here is actually I don't think we've done a 980 Ti strips before.
That thing's heavy.
We've done the 980s, but not
Yeah,
the TIs.
Yeah, not in a little guy like this.
Yeah.
That I'm aware of.
It's got a beefy backplate on it too. Jeez, man, I didn't.
That way it doesn't fold in half.
That graphics card weighs like half as much as the whole computer. That's another thing that's kind of funny about computing over the ages. I've noticed, like, I remember back when you used to buy a computer, it'd be like the graphics card would be this little itty bitty thing, right? Then you had a giant motherboard, giant hard drive. Everything else is like shrinking down, but the graphics card just gets infinitely larger. And it's getting to this point where it's like your CPU is almost there to support the graphics card now. I mean, if you think
Some
about
cases,
it,
yeah.
desktop
And
rendering.
gaming is different.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you think about it, like Windows 10, a lot of people, and this is kind of, you know, the Microsoft side of things and knowing the project because I worked on it, is in Windows 8 and Windows 8.1, one of the biggest things that was upgraded, because a lot of people say, oh, I love Windows 7, I'm not going up to Windows 8. There is one big perk to go into Windows 8, and that is the desktop composition is actually more heavily utilizing the GPU.
Okay.
In Windows 7, desktop composition was actually done by the CPU. The only way it was assisted by the graphics card is if the drivers themselves in a specific application were being utilized. So if you open something up and it used direct overlay,
Right.
it could render in that application. Well, in Windows 8 and Windows 8 through Windows 10, they've offloaded that now to the GPU. So the new WDDM driver model allows your desktop to be composed using your GPU. which is a much faster way to do it, and it doesn't kill your CPU, so your CPU is more freed up for I/O operations and things like that. So,
Well, and applications are going that way too. Isn't it? Chrome and Edge are all on GPU coding now.
yep, no, that's absolutely true. It's because the graphics card is just massively fast at floating point operations, and everything in graphics is it's scaling, right? Even 2D, scaling 2D is a floating point operation. You don't ever say, I'm just going to shrink an image by a factor of 2. It's always some factor of some decimal point.
Sure.
And so, in calculating every pixel and every color, because I used to write software that would do that, like back before you just had cool libraries and stuff where it's like, I would like to change this image to this image size. Back in the day, you used to actually read in an array of bytes. There it is. Woo!
So just a hiccup in the...
All right, guys, we're back. Yeah, no, YouTube just broke the stream. We still had internet. Everything was working just fine. It's just YouTube stopped receiving it. It might have been an OBS bug, actually, because OBS literally just stopped encoding. For
How long were we down?
Probably about a minute or two.
Oh, okay.
What would you think? It wasn't that bad.
All right, we don't have to start over.
No, we're good.
Oh my goodness.
Nope, we are good. I'm just checking to make sure the stream catches up here.
refresh
Give it just a second here.
There we go. Yep, we're good.
Oh, there we go. I'll just refreshing it. All right, guys, sorry for the hiccup, but you guys all know this is how live streams roll. And we are back in business. Awesome. We have green. Yeah, no, that was weird. The stream just dropped 0 kilobits encoded, but chat was still coming through and everything was working. I just restarted the encoder and we're back in business. So blame YouTube. Yeah. It's your fault, YouTube. YouTube, which camera? Is it this camera?
That's
YouTube. All right, I forget. Graham, what were we saying when we went offline?
We were talking about. I've lost my train of thought.
That's okay.
So let me ask a dumb question. So, for a noob like me, applying thermal paste, what's the best method, and why do you want to apply?
How did you do it, Houston?
Is there a secret to it? 'Cause I was
Yeah,
doing that,
Houston.
so-
For the regular,
There were any air pockets? So that's the two things you need to think about. Spread it evenly and don't get air pockets. And then he took those techniques and he actually did thermal testing and compared all the different temperatures. And at the end of the day, it was like 2-degree difference between the best and the worst. Actually, I think smiley face pattern was like the second best or third best or something.
That's hilarious.
But in general, we found that an X pattern did pretty well because the paste could spread out but not create air gaps. Or the P size in the middle did it all right as well. Also okay was some people will take the thermal paste and spread it really evenly with like a credit card. That was okay too. It got a little bit more bubbles, and maybe that has to even to do with how you set down the heatsink. Maybe you kind of rock it on so the bubbles can get out. But in general, it made a very, very little difference. Just make sure it's a thin layer gets across the entire CPU and try to minimize air bubbles.
Yeah, and if you guys want to see it, you said there was a write-up on that up on Puget.
Yeah,
Puget
just
Systems?
search for Puget Systems thermal paste. It'll be the first result.
All right, and for you guys that are even too lazy to do that, I'll just put a link in the video description, and I'm sure you guys will remind me.
Is processors? What kind of processor are you guys using in here, and what's kind of the preferred processor these days? Something that's good entry level processor, and then what are you guys putting in Jerry's box?
Well, so what recently came out was Intel Skylake, and it's in shortage everywhere all the time. They're having a real hard time keeping up. It's a move to, I believe, 14 nanometer, and it's just a process getting up to production speed on that for Intel. But we're running a 6700K in there, and why is kind of because we can. It's just the fastest quad-core CPU out there. It's
Every time they ask me
gaming.
what my needs are, I'm just like as fast as humanly possible. Like that's my requirement. And you guys will see that too when I review the laptop later. This thing's the power brick on it looks like it came from an Atari 5200.
There's a 6700K in there as well. That if money's no object, that's where I would go. Now, if you get into again like engineering or scientific applications, absolutely, or something like Jerry's doing with rendering, you may want to go to something with higher core counts. But kind of as a rule of thumb, like main business.
How many cores are on this CPU?
It's a quad core with
quad?
hyper-threading, so
Cool.
it'll have eight threads you can use, but it's 4 logical.
So
cores.
4 physical, 4 logical, 8 total. 8 total threads.
I think I'm using those terms right. Yeah.
No, and then funny, everybody even corrects me on it too, because I like to say, like with my Xeon system, because it has 2 Xeons, I'm like 24 cores. They're like, no, it's not 24 cores. It's 12 physical cores and 12 logical cores. I'm like, all right. All right, if you guys want to get all crazy over the details here.
And that was something we did deliberate in your build as well, because by going with 12 core, we could keep the frequency pretty high.
Yeah.
And then things that weren't multi-threaded would do all right. And then things that were multi-threaded would also do well.
Yeah, no, we did want to find a balance, because Xeons do have some crazy core counts.
Yeah, you can do an 18 core, but you're down at like 2.5 gigahertz.
And is that 18 physical core? Or is that
I think
18
it is.
total?
No, it's 18
Yeah,
physical
no, I think so. And they're stupid expensive, right? I mean, just the processor alone is like several $1,000s, right, for those. But no, I think I've seen one. Linus, actually, from Linus Tech Tips.
Yeah, I think he did.
He built one, I think, for his giant storage box or whatever he did, but he had it in there. And I remember he opened up Task Manager, and it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because it was over 30 cores.
I'm looking
in there.
forward to. So we're launching an E7 quad Xeon system here really soon. We were waiting for it to come out in a DDR4 version, and it is out now. In fact, we have it all here. We just haven't built it yet. And I believe we can get those in 18 core as well. So now I have 18.
So quad 18s?
Quad 18s. We'll post a screenshot of Task Manager if we ever do that.
Just for giggles here, what is the most expensive single system
Yeah,
that you've ever built here?
70K.
70K for just a box.
Yeah.
That's actually not bad, really, because
Not bad.
No. The reason why I say not bad, I'm guessing that's probably that's like still a tower form factor, right? Or was
Yeah.
that a rack mount?
That was tower. That was a quad tower. It was maxed out on memory, and it had a bunch of enterprise SSDs. I think it was like 10
Yeah.
enterprise class SSDs. So those SSDs are a couple $1,000 each.
They're very
it was
expensive.
probably $30,000 in memory, and then each of those CPUs. Those CPUs can cost I want to say like $8,000 each.
Yeah, no.
It's a lot.
No, I remember back when I used to work in a server lab, and I remember we went through the budget. We bought some of the the 8U rack mount servers.
Yeah.
And the price tags on some of those were almost $250,000 per server. Because, I mean, they had massive CPU cards in them, right? I mean,
Sure.
I want to say that they probably had 64 CPUs in them
Yeah.
and 128 gigs of RAM, like back when 4 gigs of RAM was insane, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Now it's like everybody can have 128 gigs of RAM in their box,
Yeah.
for very
It's
little
not that
money.
bad.
By comparison.
It's really come a long way, and that's why people even still do this, even buy those kind of systems. You might think like, why would anyone ever do that? It's because that system will replace like a cluster from a couple years ago, and so instead of having to write this code that goes out on the network to all these different cluster nodes, and
Yeah, Moore's Law is kicking ass, man.
you can get all that into one box, and it's just a lot easier to write software applications at scale and use up all that power.
I think at this time, John and I should date ourselves on technology here. I think John's going to have me beat, but I'm going to throw it out there. John, your first computer that had a hard drive, just to date things correctly, because we
you
all
might
know our
have me
first
beat.
computers did not have a hard drive.
Okay.
But your first computer that had a hard drive, how large was the hard drive capacity?
Well, I can remember back when I even started
my.
Puget, I was building 20. They must have been 20 gig drives.
20 gig drives? My first computer that had a hard drive in it was a LaserPal 286 running at 12 megahertz.
Oh, wow.
And it had a 40 megabyte hard drive in it.
Nice.
That was quadruple height. It was quadruple the
Yeah,
height
yeah,
of
yeah.
a normal hard
Yeah.
drive. And literally when you turn the computer on, you could hear the drive go.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it took a good 30 seconds
It
for that
sounds
thing
like
to
a,
achieve
like a
RPM.
gyroscope in there.
And it's just crazy to think that was my first computer with a hard drive. You got to realize before that I was using Apple IIe's and Commodore 64s. The only storage you had was like cassette tapes.
Cassette tapes, yeah, I did
or
that.
floppy
Yeah.
drives,
Yeah.
right? The old was it 5.5 floppies?
Yep, 512K.
Yeah. Yeah, unless you had scissors. Remember that? Do you remember that trick? A low density to high density. Did you ever see that?
No, I've never done that.
So the two floppies, you had the 3 1/4s and the 5 1/2s.
Yeah.
Both of them had the same thing where you could literally cut a notch out of the disk and reformat it and format it at the higher capacity. Now it was flaky as hell.
geez.
It was flaky as hell because the media definitely wasn't cherry picked that well. The lower density disks were basically the ones that failed to store data at higher densities. But the other thing was you could actually buy the hole punches. They made these square hole punches, and you could actually punch out the plastic on the smaller 3 1/4 just to get them up to 1.44 megabyte capacity from 720 kilobytes. And I remember I used to go to Radio Shack and do that because you could buy the lower capacity discs at like a quarter of the price.
Yeah.
And they get the same capacity just by punching out the little notch. So you guys, hey, if you want a tech tip that goes back, I don't know, about 20 some odd years, there you go. Good luck finding a floppy disk today. I can't even remember the last time I saw one.
I was just noticing. So we were going through our inventory for year end, and it was still this month. We are still selling USB floppy drives.
You're kidding me.
No, no, we have 2 in inventory.
To
and
whom?
I don't know.
Crazy people?
People are pulling content from,
Yeah, maybe it's more nostalgic at this point. They have some game they want to.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's crazy. Like, why would you? Because here's the funny thing about floppy disks. Remember, they all had a really finite read cycle. Like,
Somebody has to still be making them.
they literally expired like cheese. I mean, it was like, I remember I used to have things on floppy disks that I would pull out like 4 or 5 years later, and the disk wouldn't even read right. I mean, they would just degrade. Might have had something to do with me punching holes in them, but, hey. So, Houston, where we at, boss?
Core components are installed, and I'm about to move on to wiring.
So we have a question for Houston, by the way.
Oh, does it involve the beard first? We will not accept.
Involve the beard.
Yes. Okay.
So
I just wanted to be
If
clear.
you wish to answer it, you're welcome to. Question is, what kind of beard oil do you use, or do you have any recommendations for beard oil?
I will accept this question.
I think it's a worthy question.
It's a worthy question. What kind of beard oil do you use?
Actually, I use Dollar Beard Club.
There
I
you
go
go.
through them.
Is that different? Like, there's Dollar Shave Club and Dollar Beard
I
Club?
think that it evolved out of kind of an answer to them as like the antithesis, where
Yeah.
Dollar Shave Club wants you to be baby faced for cheap. The Dollar Beard Club wants you to grow it out and be majestic on the cheap.
Here's a funny story. Dollar Shave Club actually wanted to sponsor my channel way back when, and I sent them some pictures, and I was like, have you guys ever seen my Movember campaign? They're like, I literally shave like once a month. I cannot grow facial hair. This is over a week's growth right there. I know people that shave like every morning. It's like I couldn't. If I shaved every morning, I would just take skin off.
I shaved yesterday.
Crazy. I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I'm a little jealous of Houston here. I really am. I really am.
So I got a little mixed up here.
You got mixed
So,
up.
hey,
How
a lot
dare
of
you?
questions on the chat here from folks asking. We don't see any AMD CPUs on Puget Systems website.
Oh yeah. Why are you guys big old AMD haters? AMD fanboys, tune in now. I'll be right back.
Oh no!
Go ahead, John.
Leave me alone.
I'm gonna stand over here and watch Cat explode.
So we did a blog post on this. In fact, William wrote a blog post on this just a few weeks ago. What has happened? When you look at our demand over time, we sell what works well for customers and what customers demand. And back in, it must have been 2002, we were like 80% AMD. Over time, especially as we focus on high performance builds, AMD definitely has a place. We love them. We love competition they bring to the market. But when it comes to the absolute fastest you can buy, when budget isn't necessarily the first factor, it's more about the speed, Intel's a better fit at this point in time. And we were at the point where we were only selling a couple AMD systems a month. We weren't doing a good job keeping up to date with that kind of volume. So we did drop them here recently. But we're watching them pretty close. We're pretty excited about Zen. Maybe it'll change some things and kind of bring a little bit more balance to the force with this kind of stuff. We just all saw Star Wars last night. So that's where we're at with AMD.
Yeah, I actually got to go to Star Wars with you guys. That was pretty awesome.
That was great. That was a good theater.
You guys actually treat your employees good. Hey, if this YouTube thing ever doesn't pan out, can I come work for y'all? You're like, no. I'm just tweeting out the stream again, guys.
So are we at a point where we should be thinking about doing the etching?
Yeah, I'm just gonna be fiddling with figuring out how everything's gonna flow, and pack it all in without getting in the way.
Okay.
So yeah, that'd be okay unless somebody actually wants to sit and watch all
Watch
that
all the
go
way.
down.
So-
I'm gonna move to a tight shot here in a second of you just kind of continue to work on the machine.
Okay.
As we start to get stuff.
Yeah, how about we do this? Let's do another thing. Let's go through and answer a bunch of questions on Twitter, a bunch of questions in the chat.
Okay.
And people can watch Houston in the close shot here. Let's go ahead and fire that up. Sorry, Graham, I'm taking your job from you.
No worries.
So I like this multicam thing. This is actually pretty cool. So let's go ahead and answer some questions. Then after the questions, we'll figure out how to load up this cart in real time and drag it over and, I don't know, draw on stuff with lasers. It's going to be awesome.
All right. So let's see here. Let's find a good one. Could you guys maybe tell me what could cause my drives to have high response times from Tim on Twitter?
Are the SSDs or physical?
Didn't say.
They're spinning.
So my guess is probably spinning
probably.
drives.
Yeah, if they're spinning drives, probably fragmentation.
Or I would even say vibration. If you have multiple drives right next to each other, the vibration of each other can actually cause some
Are you
resets
kidding
to
me? I
happen.
would have never guessed that.
There's a video online you can see. There's a guy in a server room, and it's plotting the latencies of the hard drives, and he goes in the server room and he yells at them, and the latencies spike, and it's just a vibration. So vibration is the #1 killer, by the way, of hard drives. If you have multiple hard drives, space them out. Give them space so they
hilarious.
don't shake each other to death.
So what you're saying is next time I go to my friend's house and he has spinning discs, I should just scream at the side of his computer just to screw it.
If you have monitoring up, you should be able to see a spike. I'll send you the video on that.
Sounds like a trip to the computer museum back in Seattle, tested on some of those old.
Oh, yeah, the Living Computer Museum. Have you ever been there?
In Seattle?
Yeah.
No.
it's
Oh,
cool.
John and I need to take a field trip here, guys. I need to educate this guy on some real, like, it's all the mainframes
Yeah.
from like the 60s and 70s, but they're
Yeah.
all set up and actually working.
Oh, actually running.
Yeah, actually running with real giant. I mean, the
awesome.
hard drives are like giant platters that they drop into the thing. I mean, it's crazy cool. Let's go yell at some stuff at Paul Allen's museum.
Well, it could be a number with the hard drive. It could be controller. It could be cabling.
Yep.
It could be vibration.
What about orientation? Have you noticed any performance differences from gravity?
No, we haven't.
Okay.
Sometimes it'll make an effect. We think about that. When did we think about that? There's sometime in the last year we actually had a conversation of which way the drive will be oriented because it would be vibrating.
Mm-hmm.
It always vibrates in the plane that it's spinning, and that would cause a little bit more rattle depending on which way we have it.
Would you recommend on the drives using, like, some of the cases have the rubber grommets that kind of float the drive?
Absolutely.
See, because I'll be honest, I've built computers before, and I just take the rubber grommets out because sometimes they're a pain in the ass to get the little screw through or whatever. And I never even thought about that you probably want to dampen that vibration. I mean, is it a significant performance decrease, or?
Normally it's not a performance decrease. Normally what it translates to is failure over time.
Gotcha. So you're so his drive may actually be having higher latency because of a higher failure rate.
Or it could just, it could be, I don't know. It's just a...
Well, another cool thing that I would recommend is installing a smart monitoring utility to monitor the drives. Like, for instance, in my NAS solution, it gives me a report regularly of all the drive's health. Mm-hmm. And you'll notice that a drive that still seems to be working absolutely fine will have failed read operations.
It's correcting errors all the time.
It's constantly, when your drive doesn't always get it right the first time, and you don't notice it unless you look at these utilities. But I did have one drive. It was a Western Digital Green that was failing 25% of the read operations. And Smart was registering it as, oh my God, get it out of the computer right now. You're going to lose all your data. That was 2 years ago.
Oh, really?
I mean, it's still mad slow, but I don't care because that's not the bottleneck, right? My network is the bottleneck in my house. But the smart utilities are kind of cool because they give you a chance to see the drive slowly degrading, and you can do something before it's too late. And you guys may notice on some computers, the BIOS actually will have if you have smart detection enabled, when you boot the computer, it'll be like, oh, this drive's reporting smart errors.
And isn't it it just has reached a certain threshold of errors?
Correct.
And then it triggers the error.
Yeah, that's all Smart does. Is it literally is just counters inside of the drive that are counting every failed read, every failed write, every failed sync, how long it takes the disk to spin up. It'll actually show you the degradation in time. Like your disk when it was brand new took 3 seconds to achieve max RPM. Now it's taking 6, which indicates the bearing is wearing out. Sure. And the cool thing about monitoring that stuff is you can actually act against it and fix the drive before it gets into the danger threshold. Yeah. And like I said, I have one that went into the danger threshold like 2 years ago, and it's still working fine. So it's not necessarily the most accurate measurement of when your drive's going to fail, but at least then you can see if it's degrading quickly. Maybe it's because you need to put the drive in a different place. Maybe it's because you're not dampening it and it's wearing out faster than it should.
I guess either way, back up your data now.
Back up your data. No, I run redundancy on nearly everything. The only thing that I'm not running redundant right now on my system is the main driver. Well, actually, that's redundant too because I'm backing it up to my external driver.
Do you run anything offsite?
I do not. No.
I recommend a program, Crash Plan. You can either pay for the cloud service or you find a friend.
Crash Plan. Okay, I've never heard of it.
Yeah, crashplan.com.
Okay.
We're not affiliated with them in any way. I just use it and I love it. You can run it on your computer and you have this code you can give out to your friends.
Okay.
That will allow them to back up to you, and then they can give you their code and you can back up to them.
Oh wow! So you're not backing up to the cloud. You're backing up to a trusted network of friends.
Just a friend, and it's encrypted, so they can't see your files. They can't access your files. All it is then if you lose your hard drive.
Good thing it's encrypted. Boy, that would scare my
back
friends.
over the internet. Yeah.
I don't want John giving me a call like, "Oh, you backed up to our servers. The cops are here." No, I'm just kidding. No, but Crash Plan. That's actually I never even thought about that. That's actually a really good idea. I also have a friend you guys might remember, Adam Schmidt. Kevlar Condom is what he goes by online. It's actually a long story about Quake and how he used to get kind of shot in other regions. But anyways, he has Synology. And has this house. And the cool thing about the Synology products is you can actually go into the UI and give access to your friends through the dashboard, and you can allot them storage. And I don't think it has the built-in support to back up remotely. It may, I actually don't know. I don't know, but I know that you can actually use them as a cloud, like OneDrive or something like that. And he has such an enormous amount of storage. He just like sent me an email. It's like, you've been invited to use my NAS. Here's 50 gigabytes of free space or whatever. And I thought that was kind of cool. And I'm actually going to do something similar with my Synology, where I actually share out some space to some of my friends, especially Graham over here, because Graham's always shooting video and needs to upload it somewhere. It's my video, but I think that's a good solution for it.
We could have used that yesterday, right?
I know, because
you transferred 35 gigabytes via another cloud service.
OneDrive is horrible. I do not like OneDrive.
I use it.
I agree.
What do you not like about it?
He uploaded 30 gigabytes of stuff to OneDrive, and OneDrive's like, this
slow.
is too... No, it said it's too big to send me a zip file, and I don't have enough space on my OneDrive unless I upgrade to Pro to download it, so my only options are to click on like 100 individual files down. I can't even do a multi-select and say just start a bunch of downloads at once. I have to download one file at a time, and I'm like, that is not practical.
I've always been intrigued. I've never used it, but the torrent sync. Have you heard of that one?
I don't know anything about torrents, John.
Yeah. Well,
We're not going to talk about that.
You run the client on all your different computers, and instead of uploading to a cloud service somewhat slowly and then downloading, you have to. It synchronizes out to all.
I actually have used torrent sync
used it?
before. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. No, and I upgraded to a version that actually had malware in it because a couple
did you?
Yeah,
Oh,
a couple
boy.
companies were actually taking, because it's an open source project.
Okay.
A bunch of companies were taking it and creating same name, releasing it, and putting malware and stuff in it. So you got to be careful about that, guys. Make sure if you get torrent sync, you get it from what is it, like SourceForge or whatever. Get it from the actual repository of the original one. Don't just go search for it and click the first link in Bing and hope that it's the right one.
So, question from Justin W on Twitter.
Who's it to?
And this is under. It is to Puget Systems.
Damn it.
This is under the hashtag Puget Build Live. So if you guys have questions, please jump on Twitter.
Oh, yes.
Them there. Puget Build.
So if you guys
Live.
couldn't hear Graham there, go. It's hashtag Puget Build Live. Use that hashtag and any question you ask on Twitter, and it'll show up in our feed. And then Graham can potentially ask those questions. Then John can answer them, since you guys obviously have no questions for me.
So the question is about mineral oil.
No.
cases.
Okay.
Yeah, which you still have sitting in the
saw-
front
still have one.
There
office.
is. I saw that out front. So
Yeah.
the question was, will you ever bring back
fire
the
yet?
mineral oil case?
No power.
that
Probably not.
This is
So
your
right
first time ever
now,
doing,
so
like,
the
a live stream or
whole
anything like
story,
this,
and I don't really want to
I
open
was
the
on
whole
Twitch
flame
for a little bit before
again,
while I was in
but
California. doing some
we
gaming
did that as a
stuff,
fun
so-
project.
but
A
not
number of
a
years.
whole
We were
lot.
probably doing that for like 7 years.
But,
It was a lot of
awesome,
fun, and we were
Doing
building
awesome.
kits for people. And we never really, we did it for fun. It was not a business venture. We didn't patent anything. It was all kind of open. And another company did patent it. They actually cited us in the patent, which we kind of have mixed feelings about. And so they actually contacted us and said, well, you can keep doing this if you want to buy a license from us. And
Are you kidding me? See, wait, you guys did it first. Did you guys do it first, or did they do it first? Or is
Well,
that like on...
that's, well, we claim we did it first. They claim they did it first. I can tell you, I'm the one that came up with the concept, and I was not...
hate patent trolls.
Sure.
I absolutely
I don't
hate
think
patent
they're a
trolls.
patent troll. I think
Okay.
that there was a time where a couple people had an idea at the same time. They happened to benefit from patenting it, and we didn't. But that's the state we're in right now. Whereas, we could continue if we wanted to license and pay kickbacks. And for something that was not a business venture, that's just not something we're going to do. So,
Is it one of those patents, too, where it's like a box full of mineral oil?
Yeah, it was cooling a computer via submerging it in mineral oil. That's what the patent is.
Seriously, whoever company you are that we will not name? Seriously?
But don't start. Yeah.
Don't worry, John. This is me. This is me at this
when,
point.
When the hordes go after that company, it comes back to us.
It comes back to me, guys. To me.
So
No, I'm just saying,
civil.
though, that's-
be civil. That's all.
Be civil. Yeah, you guys be...
It wasn't, it's fine to like express your displeasure with something, but they were getting kind of threats and really angry emails, and it kind of goes.
No,
too far.
I mean, fair enough, right? They own the patent to it, so honestly, from a legal perspective,
if
they
it was
should
something
get,
we wanted to make business,
Right,
make money
right.
off, we would have patented
If,
it.
and if you guys did it and you got the patent first, I mean, you guys would get all the spoils. But it's just funny, these patents where it's like a box with mineral oil in it.
Sure.
Or like Apple's patent. The funniest one ever that I saw was, did you see the patent that Apple had that I think Samsung got sued? Apple sued Apple and Samsung sue each other all the time. And I think they eventually got to a point where they just like had a stalemate and they were like, here, listen, you owe us like $80 billion, we owe you $80 billion. Let's just not owe each other anything.
Yeah.
But they tried to patent like a rectangular phone with a home button.
Oh wow.
And like every single phone that's ever come out since like 5 years ago has been that same basic design. If you have like a home button and a triangle, and I thought that was really funny. I like looked at the patent too, and it was like the patents that are like one page, right? It's like we own rectangle with screen on the front of it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I wish I had like millions of dollars just to go create all kinds of patents. Like I own a circle, I own red. Actually, Ferrari, funny story. Ferrari actually owns the patent to Ferrari red, but I don't think it's observed in certain countries. But yeah, technically you can't create that shade of red.
shade of red?
Yeah,
Wow.
and if you do, you can't call it Ferrari red, obviously,
Sure.
because they own Ferrari red. Funny stuff.
I have a question for you from Twitter, Jerry.
Oh, I get a question?
You have a question. Any recommendations for smart utilities for Windows?
Smart utilities for Windows. I actually just use the built-in smart detection.
Into the motherboard.
Yeah, just the BIOS. If you go into BIOS, you can actually look at the smart on a more modern system. You can look at the smart status for your system. But there is a utility that I ran. Oh no, I remember. It's StableBits. If you go to I think it's stablebits.com. They make two pieces of software. One called Drive Pool, and the other one called Drive. one is based on drive health and the other one is based on drive pooling. And the one that's based on drive health monitors all your drives and gives you real-time telemetry on them. And that's what I use on my Windows home server.
Okay.
That was my old NAS. And it actually worked remarkably well. And you could set it up to actually send you email notifications. So you'd actually pull out your phone. It's like, you got an email from your NAS. It says that drive 3, Western Digital, serial number, blah, 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 had reported this smart error.
Is there an API through Windows that you can, like through PowerShell?
I don't know if there's an API directly supplied. Actually, there'd have to be. No, I'd be willing to bet that there is. Go check MSDN. Go to msdnmicrosoft.com and search for smart IO detection. Just put a period in between each one of the letters because it is an acronym for something that I don't know.
If you find out, let us know. We're actually looking for a
The
utility.
Microsoft Developers Network?
Yeah.
One of the things we would like to do here is one of the first things we do after we boot up a system
Yep.
is take a measurement of how many errors are. And then
Yep.
one of the last things we do is take a measurement. And if that rate looks like it's going too high, then,
Oh.
then we fail the drive.
I sense a collaboration here, John. Would you like me to
Let's
do a
That'd
Codgasm
be
on a
awesome.
smart
We would-
utility
we
that
would
tracks
use
that?
We would use that every day.
If you guys would like to see that, leave something down in the comments or tweet me. That's a good Codgasm episode because I already did hard drive LED. Remember?
Yeah.
One of the problems when they gave me my system, I wouldn't call it a problem. It was just something I wasn't used to. Is there is no hard drive LED on William? There's just a blue LED to indicate power, and I use my hard drive indicator as kind of an indication to me of how hard the computer's working. I know that's not a viable way to do it.
You're not going to hear it churning.
You're not going to hear an SSD, unfortunately, unless you have, like, you can hear transistors shifting polarity and stuff like that. But I created a program. You guys may have already seen it if you saw the Codgasm. I don't remember which episode it was, but hard drive LED would put literally a little icon down in your task tray of a hard drive, and it would show you basically an indication of how hard your hard drive was working. And I was like, it would be probably pretty trivial for me to add smart detection to that utility or create another standalone utility. So,
Yeah.
John, send me a spec.
All right.
Just tell me what you want, and let's
Great.
see if we can do a Codgasm. Because I think, honestly, if Smart is exposed through WMI, which is the Windows Management, I can. That'd be like
Amazing. Yeah.
be 50 lines of code.
Yeah.
You'd have exactly what you wanted.
Cool. Yeah.
That's cool. See, hey, look at this, another collaboration. John, can I have 5 more computers for that, please? No, I'm just kidding.
All right, I'm gonna take a quick poll here and see who wants to see that Codgasm. I think it might be popular though.
Ooh, let's do it. All right.
Yep, very popular.
Is everybody coming in on chat right now?
I asked everybody on chat to press 1 if you wanted to see a Codgasm of that, and it's blowing up.
There you go.
So-
All right, guys. Next Codgasm is going to be a simple Smart utility for monitoring your hard drives.
Those are popular, those segments.
Yeah, no, people have been begging me to bring it back, and I've been working on a new Codgasm. Unfortunately, I'm running into a problem right now. It's with the Corsair keyboard. I'm actually remember I told you I was trying to control the LEDs on the keyboard to tie them into WMI, so I could actually have like hard drive, TX, RX on your network, all that stuff reported through color and keys on the keyboard. And I'm running into a problem right now, and it's actually not Corsair's problem. It's with the intermediate library for C#, because all my Codgasm episodes are in C#, because it's really hard to write an unmanaged application in an hour.
Sure.
It really is when you have to deal with memory management and stuff like that. But I was working on that, but honestly, that's on the back burner right now, and I think that this would be another really easy one to do. So guys, next Codgasm is going to be a smart monitoring utility for your hard drives. Expect it, unless I can't figure out how to do it.
You're gonna patent it?
No, because I'm poor people. I can't afford patents because they're like, what, like $10,000 or something ridiculous like that? And then there's no guarantee now because what's the rule if you have to do the patent research? You have to pay to have the patent research done.
Yeah.
And then if you file the patent, they could still technically accept it, but if they find another patent later on that conflicts with it, the patent with the earlier date is the real. So even though you paid for it and you got the patent, technically it means nothing if they find it. So you have to make sure you are meticulous in your patent research. And unfortunately, us YouTube people, we're just, we don't have patent money yet. I'm working on it, though.
There's 2 questions that have popped up. The first one is just a rough estimate on cost of this system and the configuration that Jerry has.
Oh, screw rough estimate. We'll give you like exact numbers.
Down to the penny.
Yeah. Okay, right here. It's $4,876.05 U.S. currency. Don't forget the 5 cents.
We didn't charge you for shipping.
Oh, no charge. They didn't charge me for shipping, but that's because, I don't know, I'm awesome. And I live like 40 minutes away.
Oh, okay. Just making sure I don't have to pre-wire for like 1 million extra hard drives or something.
And just to be clear, this will kick the crap out of an Xbox One and a PlayStation 4. I just want to be absolutely clear on that.
So I mean, where's most of that budget going? So we have the 980 Ti, that's a big piece of it. 6700K is a big piece. We have multiple 2 terabyte SSDs.
Oh yeah, that's the thing, guys. This just 4 terabytes and SSDs in this thing, and that's let's see. So it's got the 2 SSDs. Is there an M2 in there also, or is that just SSDs?
Looks like in this one we don't. We just have the 2. We have the capacity, I guess.
Just the 2 SSDs, yeah. Well, I mean, it is a media center. I don't think we really need an M2 drive in this thing, but technically you could, right? Does this
Yep.
motherboard support an M2?
It does, doesn't it?
I think.
I don't know why we didn't do that.
Sure.
I thought there was an
Yeah.
M2 drive in the original plans.
The M2, the
can take
M2s,
it.
there's multiple M2s in the laptop.
Oh, does that thing have multiple? Wow. That's crazy. So just to give you guys an idea, the M2 interface is roughly like twice as fast as the SATA 2 interface,
It's
isn't it?
intense, yeah. So
Yeah.
these days you see most of the time it's a by 4, so PCI
Yep.
Express 3.0, 4 lanes, and I honestly don't even know what that maxes out at. It must be somewhere in the 3 gigs a second range.
Well, the M2 in William, which is I think that's the older M2. They've
They've
improved
come a
upon
long
that.
way since then.
In
yeah.
that M2, I get over 1,500 megabyte per second read write
Yeah.
on that thing. It's insane because I think the 850 Pros do like 500 or 600,
Yeah.
something in there.
Yeah.
So 3 times that from
Yeah.
the M2, and that's an old M2. The new M2s are even crazier.
And keep an eye out for Micron and Intel just released their Crosspoint technology. It's
Yep.
spelled X-Point, and capacities and speeds are going to get crazy here in this next year. We're gonna max
Yeah.
out the M2 bus with these things.
What was the current Intel Intel has a card. It's
Yeah.
like I don't even think it's M2. I think it's a
Yeah, it's
PCIe,
just PCIe card.
storage.
Yeah, that's their Intel 750 series.
And I think that thing's got it's like almost 3 gigabytes a second or something. It's something
I'm
ridiculous.
I'm blanking out right now on those
Yeah.
those kind of specs, but yeah, the
Samsung 950 Pro is 2.5 gigabytes a second read.
2.5 gigs a second read.
That's the Samsung M2.
That's the Samsung 950 Pro, the new one. And the
not the one you have.
Right, that's the M2 interface,
the
right?
Intel 750 is like 1.8 or something like. No, it's like 2.2.
2.2.
It's close to the Samsung.
So those Intel 750 drives are about 2. We could be off. You can look up the specs, but the Intel 750s are 2.2 gigs a second, and then Samsung just came out with their 950 Pros. That's an M2, real small card, and yeah, that'll get 2.5. What we found though is you got to make sure to cool it. What it does is, so they take a lot of power, they generate a lot of heat, and they deal with that by when they hit a certain temperature, they'll just get slower. So you'll actually improve the performance of your drive by making sure you have good ventilation.
So they're literally like thermally throttled. So if
Yep.
you actively cool it, you're going to increase your overall drive performance.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yes.
So the questions are flooding in on Twitter.
Let's get 'em, man.
I have approximately 25 questions here to go through. So that was let's see here.
Are any of them for me?
There are a couple of questions for you. So
Hey, how many live viewers do we have right now, by the way?
We are at 3239.
Over 3,000 live viewers. I think this might actually be the most live viewers I've ever had on any live stream that I've done.
And they haven't even seen the cool part yet, right?
Yeah, we need to do that.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get the
Still-
laser machine.
So we'll get through a couple of these questions here first. So this question, Puget Systems. When will your selection of cases on your website be expanded?
Okay. Well, I can give you a little insight on our business philosophy here. We're actually heading in the other direction. We feel like we can contribute the most as a system builder by offering fewer items, but doing it
looking
really well.
I like this,
And
though. I wanna
especially as
mention
you
that,
increase
too,
the
in the
case,
video.
you have to think about
The hot
all
glue
the
and the connector in there.
competencies we have to build into the building process and dealing
I
with
can
those
tell,
all those
especially
different
on,
cases.
Western Digital
We have a lot
platter
more
drives.
inventory we have to keep
they-
on hand
they,
for
like,
any time
remove the
some
clip
little thing breaks or
for
breaks
the
in
data
shipping,
one,
or
for the data
say your
port, it'll just
toddler
slip right out.
tripped
It-
over
it
a
doesn't
USB cord.
lock.
Oh yeah, it's really Oh, go ahead.
It doesn't lock.
or break something in the
So I'll
case,
glue it all the way.
and then
That's
shipping
smart.
it. We have to
I'll
make
bump
shipping
into it,
materials
comes
for all
right
these different cases.
Wow.
So we actually provide a much better experience with having fewer products. So we're always in evaluation of how can we meet the most wide
looks
array
a
of
crazy
needs
nice back
with the
here, but-
fewest
You don't see
components
that. No, that looks
possible.
great. Hey, are we on the close-up shot right
Sure,
here?
let me switch it over.
Yeah, we'll switch it over. Show
Oh,
the
I
inside here.
almost
It's starting to
forgot
look
the video.
pretty.
Wow, look
So
at that.
almost done.
Here, flip it around. I do want to show though. This is cool. I love the hot glue. I made this clear when you built my system.
A lot of people
I was
have
like,
mixed feelings about the hot
No,
glue.
I think the hot glue. Well, you should know me. I'm a hot glue enthusiast.
Sure.
Like, did you see the
Yeah,
video
the
I did on
jerry
hot gluing everything? Like my whole cable management under my desk is hot
Yeah,
glue.
yeah.
But I like that they hot glue the connectors on the drives because inside of the case, if you move it around, bump it or something like that, you're doing. I've had loose I/O connectors before, and they cause really weird problems.
Yeah. You have to understand everything we do here isn't just like pulled out of the air. We have tech support people, and we monitor those tickets every week. And we're talking about what are some problems we saw this week, what can we do to make sure that never happens again. And so
Yeah.
that this is a procedure that kind of results from 15 years of asking those questions.
You guys do some pretty crazy stuff. Like one of the things going back to William again is when you guys put the active heatsink
Yeah.
or the passive heatsink on the M2 drive. because the M2 drive was prone to overheating
Yeah.
in that scenario. But you guys figured that out. I mean, through testing, you figured out that drive can get toasty.
Yeah.
And you stuck that on there. And I even remember you were telling me something like that. Like, that basically voided the warranty. Like, you guys were assuming the liability over doing that.
We
but
epoxied that thing on
because
there.
you literally, you epoxied a heatsink onto something. It's kind of hard to return that back to manufacturer. And they're like, I don't remember putting that bit on there.
Right.
But it's just the fact that it's like, you guys go to great lengths to have reliable hardware. I mean, that's like your metric that's really high up there above all, right up there with having cool systems, or silent systems rather, is you take that as a mark against you when you have a high hardware failure.
Yeah.
You guys, that's why you're doing all of this testing.
And you have to find a balance. I mean, we don't want to slobber, hot glue all over the place so you can't
Right.
work with the case. And so we try to do just enough to just secure everything, but not make it a huge mess and a hassle if you do want to swap things out in the future. And we even have some customers that know that we do that and they request.
Yeah.
No hot glue, please. If something comes unplugged, I'll plug it back in. We expect that. And if that's
Yeah.
something you want from us, just tell us. We're happy to do it.
Yeah, it's really cool. I think I've shown you guys some of the, if you go to their website, like this computer even, I looked at it this morning. You can, every stage of this, you can watch it happen.
Sure.
Which is really cool. Like right now, if I wanted to, I could go to the website. It's kind of hard to show it on a live stream here, but I could go to the website and watch him ticking off everything as it's
Every
going.
time he's touching that tablet, it's updating a status on the website.
Yeah, so like right now, let's see what we got here. We're gonna, let me try not to break everything. So yeah, test power supply checked off, check post motherboard, CPU, RAM checked off, verify latest approved BIOS is installed. Oh, that's good. All checked off, and I mean there is a massive list of things here on the site, and you can actually watch this as it's going down. And then when you guys go to the testing phase, you also get that. And then I even remember you guys even photograph it.
Yeah.
So on the web page, I can go there anytime and look at all of these photos of the computer. I can look at the thermal imaging for the computer. Do you guys do the thermal imaging for everything, or do you just do it for certain builds?
For most everything, it gets challenged. Like with laptops, there's really not a lot to see.
That makes sense,
So
yeah.
small form factor builds are a little bit more challenging. But yeah, this one absolutely.
And it's cool because you can actually go on there and see like where the heat is being built in the case at load and at idle.
Yeah.
And those are the kind of things that I really, really liked about this whole experience. A lot of people ask me why I don't build my own computers, because honestly, I have the skill to do it. I did it for years. I've built like 2,000 computers in my lifetime because I used to build tons and tons of computers for government agencies through my computer store. But I never pay this kind of, even when it's my own system, I never can pay this close of attention to detail. I would seriously go crazy.
You have to understand, like, we're just people too, and we're learning, and
Yeah.
we don't do everything right. We do make mistakes. We learn from mistakes. So what you get by having somebody build is somebody that has done 15 years of like, let's learn from our mistakes and
Yep.
make sure we never do this again. And you just kind of benefit from all that experience.
So I have a question for you. What's the average tenure of your employees here at Puget?
That's a really good question.
Well,
Average
it's
tenure.
system build-
So it's
like-
heavily skewed this
I've
year.
never seen you before.
we have a number of people here that have been here since mid 2000s, so like 2004, 2005. That's when the hiring kind of really started here. A number of people in probably 2009 timeframe. What happens is we have very low turnover, but as we grow, we kind of grow in bursts. So this year we actually hired 6, I think, people this year. So that brought our average down.
Yeah.
But and we had another hiring burst in 2009, another hiring burst in 2004. But for the most part, turnover is really low.
I would actually, that's the thing is, I would actually like to work here because I've been here multiple times, right? I've even come here when I haven't been shooting videos. You guys even let me sit in
You
on
sat
one of
in
your
a
meetings.
meeting, yeah.
They let me sit in on one of their business meetings. I mean, I'm surprised you guys let me do that because you were saying all kinds of cool stuff in that meeting. But one of the things I really liked about it is you guys all seem like you're really proud of what you're doing. You all seem very passionate about what you're doing. And you seem like you value all of your employees' input. I can't say that that's the same every place I've ever
Sure,
worked.
sure.
I've definitely worked in those places before where it's like, hey, I think we should do. Shut up. I don't get that vibe here at all.
Sure.
And so I think that's another thing that contributes to actually coming in here and seeing this whole operation. I think it's a lot of what people like to watch these videos that I've produced here. Is it seems like people really, really like the idea of not that you guys are just so precise in what you do, but it's like you guys are real people. I mean, this isn't a sweatshop. And honestly, I've worked at some places that would be classified as a sweatshop.
It is a challenge, and that's I guess that's one of the benefits from as we're expanding into kind of more high-end builds.
Yeah.
It doesn't become this like volume game where we have to build so many computers all the time. But even at the rate we're at here, you really have to be careful. There's a lot of people that might be on the stream that would think like this would be a dream job. But think about, you get to put together a couple computers a year. How exciting is that? Now do 10 every day for years.
One thing I've learned,
is that still exciting?
No, that's one of the things I learned actually going from a full-time job to doing YouTube full-time is anytime that you do something over and over again and it becomes less of a hobby and more of a job, of course it's more of a challenge to keep that passion up. It really is. It's not impossible. It's just a little bit more work. And having an environment where, you know, like for instance, you took your employees to the movies. I've worked at jobs that have never taken me anywhere. I mean, it's little things like that I think make all the difference. I mean, hell, I even came in here, you guys were all eating in the break room together that one time. I thought that was really cool. You guys had like a potluck. And everybody here, for the most part, I mean, seems happy, except for William. That guy, you should really, really rethink.
That's just when you're here.
William. Yeah, you guys, William, that guy.
He's in Texas right now. He went to visit family for Christmas.
Oh, did he really? Yeah. Did he? So William is, of course, the name of my computer. If you guys watched the other video, you would know why. Because he was the guy to hassle every time I wanted to know the status of my machine. And the best part is I could have just looked at the website, but nope.
So is this one's going to be called William Jr.?
This is William Jr.
Okay.
And that's William. Well, I was thinking I'm toying with William Mobile or John. I'm thinking I might call that John, though.
I'm going to take this home with me. Sorry. You're not going to... No, I'm just kidding. I'm taking this machine with
Please don't do that, Graham, because I honestly couldn't stop you. Graham is like 6'9" tall.
The good thing is it's so heavy you can't really run very fast with it.
Yeah, you can't run. You guys just wait for this laptop review. That laptop is laughably high performance. That's awesome. Put it this way, I picked it over a MacBook. That should tell you something. No, I'm just kidding.
Are we about ready? Do you want to...
Yeah, should we do some laser engraving here?
Yeah. So what do we need to do? Do we need to take the plate off, or do we have another plate?
We have blank plates, and
Okay.
I'm glad that you mentioned that now.
I don't know. Should we ask people? Like, do you guys want to see us go over and laser etch?
No, let's skip that part.
Do you want to just skip that and just hang out here and just watch Houston figure out how to put more parts in here? Like,
I'm actually almost finished. The last part was wiring up the video
Nice.
card, and so now I just got to make sure that all of this is gonna fit okay when I put the case back together.
Good job.
Otherwise, unless I'm missing some parts, I don't think so.
Okay, so we should definitely go etch then.
Let's do it. Let's do some etching, guys. So we're gonna load up some hardware, and you guys can watch this. We're gonna go ahead and bring this camera.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and start moving.
Got it. Okay. Is this the one that's on the wide shot right now?
This is that's the close-up.
All right.
Text Matt.
So what we're gonna do.
Oh, are you over there?
is- Hi guys. How's it going? That's cool. I'm actually gonna hook this on to the microphone. This is gonna be the weirdest camera mount ever in the history of all camera mounts. All right. Oh, look at the ceiling. Yep, untethered from power, so that my high-performance laptop can drain the battery in 8 minutes. No, I'm just kidding.
We have 5 minutes.
You guys have to see the power. Where's the power brick for this thing? Here, I'll just give them a little sneak preview. You guys want to see a laptop power brick? That's a laptop power
Most
brick.
laptops.
Yeah. Ooh, pretty. All right. So you got the wide camera on there. Okay, just put that there, and I think we're mobile. It's kind of cool. I'm like holding my microphone here. All right, let's go, guys. This is a mobile live stream now. Ooh, I just noticed I'm clipping horribly. Hold on. Sorry, guys. I'm gonna lower the volume down on this just a little bit. Check. There we go. All right. Check.
That camera. You just take
Oh,
that.
you gonna be the audio guy? I would just like to reiterate that this entire stream was set up in 20 minutes, so I think we are doing phenomenal.
Might check we'll go to the other side of the building from the Wi-Fi.
Oh yeah, are we gonna like lose Wi-Fi here?
We're still good. We got 30 frames.
No.
Yeah, well, then we'll probably get
Goodbye. Here, this is where we're going, guys. In case you're wondering. So, actually, here I should have given them a little view of the whole thing. This is a big warehouse here, and now we are going into the fume room. They have it draped off here because it does smell just a touch like plastic in here. We also, you guys may recognize this. You guys actually bought an Ultimaker too because of me, didn't you?
Yeah, you were.
Watch all of your videos ahead of time.
Oh. See
So
that?
how's Wi-Fi in here? Are we still?
Are we still good? Yeah, we're good.
dropping
We're still
no
frames. We're doing
Wow,
good.
we're like one.
Oh, the Element Maker just said laser. Yeah, we're gonna be doing some lasering, guys. All right. You almost got me free here. To room. All right. So, all right. We're gonna rotate this. Stick that right there. That is the giant, super laser.
Turn it up.
Let's see here. It should auto balance. Sorry, guys. Probably all gonna get seasick while I untangle all these cables. You know what? Do they have wireless webcams? I want to look and see if I can get like battery-powered wireless webcams. That would be perfect for this. Just leave the laptop somewhere, just walk around with wireless cameras, and just stick them on stuff.
Yeah, like IP cameras? Why not?
Weird.
Yeah, why not?
I'm gonna. If you guys know of a good one, let me know. Here, we're gonna just stick that right there. Let's see how much cable
So
we got.
do we have a?
We are
do we
pretty
have a
good.
mic in here?
Yeah,
So-
I got a
Yep, mic's right over there. I'm gonna give us some more volume now that we're further away. Here we go, guys. All right, you guys ready to see some lasering? Are ya? Let's see here. How's the chat going? Jerry copies Linus Tech Tips revealed. Dude, everybody on YouTube copies everybody.
This is actually not. So I think Linus did the SLI rig from MSI.
Oh, okay.
So this is.
Hey guys, just to let you know, everything I do is a copy of everybody else on YouTube.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, guys. This is confession time. I make videos on YouTube, and another guy made videos on YouTube before me. I know. I feel like such a scumbag stealing all that, guys. Wow, you ain't got the tripod. Look at this guy. Dude, he is
big tripod.
massive. This guy is
I don't even want to
massive.
show. Oh, you just showed off. Huh?
Yeah. Massive. Oh, this is gonna be fun.
So the only thing is, we have to decide if that's what you want. So that's a sample.
Oh no, censor
Dude,
that.
that's
Oh,
we
well,
can
actually, that's not bad.
No, that looks good. I like that.
So we can put this wherever you want, any size you want. That's a mock-up.
I kind of like it centered up like that. What do you guys think? Do you like it all centered up right here in the center, or like bigger over here? Actually, I like that. I think that's cool. I think the Puget System logo should be a little like. Can we make it that small?
They say
right in the
dolphins with lasers.
Dolphins with lasers. With
Minimum size we can make
lasers.
those lines.
All right, let's crack this sucker open. Watch it here. Actually, here, let's look at this here really quick.
So how does this all work here?
How does this all work?
Well, this is actually a Chinese laser, which means the software.
The laser came from
It's,
China. What?
Yeah. So the
Wow.
software is fun to use.
I've never bought anything from China.
But I mean, all we've got is we've got your logo.
Okay.
Logo in here. We've got ours. Future Certainty down there.
And I provided the logo. I forget what format did I give that to you guys? Was it like a PNG or was it a PDF?
I think you gave us both a vector and a normal, but we just traced it basically.
I think it's great that it turned out that good.
What is best for these is to give it in a vector format.
Yeah.
Something like Illustrator, but you have to be careful because you can actually put non-vector images just inside a vector file, and so a lot of people will try to do that.
Actually, I have a
Yeah.
question. If somebody wanted to get a custom graphic, like put on something, I mean, is that something that you guys would do?
We do all the time, actually.
Really? So
most of the time, we'll do it if like a company is buying multiple machines from us. They'll either use it for asset tagging, and we'll actually with our laptops. In fact, we etched it on your laptop down on the bottom. We'll offer a service where we'll etch. Like, if you find this laptop, please notify, and it actually goes to us so that your privacy isn't.
That's
your
awesome.
information isn't out there. So we'll do that, and then a lot of times if a company is like reselling our computer as an appliance.
Yep.
It's part of something greater. They'll etch their logo on the front. So we'll do that.
That's cool. So if you guys are a competing YouTube channel and you want to have your own logo on your laptop and computers to undermine me, feel free to contact Mr. John.
So that's what we started with.
So that's the original graphic right there.
And then we've got it transferred over black and white. Because I mean, so black part is the part we're gonna etch, white's not etched, and so then we can import it.
Very cool.
Is it's extra huge, and then you just resize it down. So that's what we got here.
And in case you guys are wondering, this is Laser Cut 5.3 from Janan King Rabbit Technology Development Co. Ltd. Wow.
Yeah, no, if you go into the settings, there's typos everywhere.
It's okay, everybody knows that I have horrible grammar and spelling.
Alright, so
My camera flashed there. Are we still good?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Yep. You want to give us a close up of the?
Oh, is there a way for me to actually here? Can we push the card over here just a little bit more?
Yep.
I'm gonna actually stick the camera in the laser cutter.
we can do. You're not supposed to leave the door open, but we can.
Guys, we're gonna break the rules just for this one time. Don't worry though.
So if you can get it in there.
All right. So
We got a bunch of stuff we can stack up.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that looks awesome.
yeah, let's do this. We're gonna unprecedented view right here, guys. Unprecedented. All right. Big old stack.
So how many watts is this laser here?
1.21.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
I think it's a 100-watt laser.
100 watt laser. So even at that level, we actually have.
Where's the cutting actually
What you're
happening?
hearing is a
Right here.
liquid cooled. It's a liquid cooled laser, and then we also have a vent.
Is there any way for us to get that a little bit closer?
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. It's a chiller.
It's a chiller.
It's a chiller.
That's why it's all super loud.
That's why it sounds like a refrigerator. All
Yeah.
right, makes perfect sense. Are we good? Yeah.
Got this all
How's that view look?
place.
Is that
Looks
cool?
great. Yep.
All right. Go ahead and close your up. Hi guys.
Make sure we don't hit anything.
Let me bring our microphone Here, can I sneak by you, Mr. Graham?
Boy, I wonder recording this. We've never had this either.
Oh, here, rotate. Let's see. Can you rotate the camera? Oh no, that's perfect. Actually, never mind. I was looking over here.
So that's
Oh, that's perfect. You guys are getting an epic view. This is sweet.
all right. So
Look at this big. Oh, dude, this is cool. I'm actually even excited to see this.
as long as I did all this right.
Here we go.
So this will take about, I think, 15 minutes.
Ow, my eyes! Ow! Oh God.
Don't look directly into the laser.
Yeah, 100-watt laser would do some damage. Did you ever see this company called Arctic Laser that makes a 1-watt handheld laser? It's
Okay.
a
Yeah,
1-watt
I think
hand,
so.
and it'll blow balloons up from
Right.
like 100 yards away.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
And it has you have to use like a special sequence to turn the thing on, because if you even reflect it off a wall
Yeah.
into your eye, it can actually seriously burn your
That's
retina.
actually why you're not supposed to have the lid up, is
Yep.
because it will reflect off of that, and you can.
Yeah, you know it's a powerful laser when just reflecting off like a semi-glassy surface
Yeah.
will blind you.
So is that the direction we etch?
On this one, the front of these cases, it has almost a grain to it, so you have to etch with the grain.
This
or
is
else
so
you get
cool.
Weird discolorations.
So-
like
so-
you get banding.
So if you etch against the grain, I guess the laser can't get down into the crevices as much, and it doesn't provide as good of an etch.
That's interesting.
So this way is the way we have to do it. It's not the most efficient way. It'd be much more efficient to turn it 90 degrees, but
How's the audio with this background? Is it?
It looks like we're actually registering pretty high marks, but that's fine. It's not clipping.
No.
They're just gonna hear a hum in the background from the chiller.
yeah,
Dude, that is a cool angle. I like that. I didn't.
did not plan.
You know what? I'm actually surprised that everything is going as smoothly as it has, because I'm going to tell you guys, today I got all the bad luck out of the way. I broke a light bulb. I knocked over an LED light bulb and shattered it all over my carpet, so I got glass specks everywhere.
Uh-huh.
And guess what the light bulb fell on top of? A GoPro Hero 4 Black,
Oh,
and
see.
shattered the LCD screen on it. Like a GoPro, the most indestructible thing on earth, I managed to break today.
Yeah, right.
Here, I'm going to tweet this out, guys. Feel free to retweet this out and send it out to all your social networks. We are live laser etching my HTPC case. Yeah. And I'm typing it in.
So is it going to etch
Right
the
now.
Puget logo and then go do the Barnacules?
There's only a little bit of an overlap, so it'll just do both at the same time.
Okay.
Sweet.
Yeah, if we were doing like
Tweety.
a lot of these, or if it was
It
more
should be
of an
starting
overlap.
any second here. It'll jump up for your
Okay, here
logo.
we go. I just tweeted it out, so a couple
Yeah.
more scragglers can jump on into the stream and enjoy this awesome thing that we are doing right now.
Yeah, so this is the quick part of the etch, and then once we get to your logo, it's wider and thicker. So
Melissa in
so
chat
it's a
says,
little bit
I don't even know what they're talking about. Oh my god. Guys, we're talking about lasers. This right here is a 100-watt laser, and it's actually etching a logo into. It's basically like burning away the paint, right, or the anodization
that's
or
basically
something.
what we're doing. But you don't
Okay.
want to go too deep. If you go too deep, you burn all of it away. You get down to the bare metal, and then that can rust.
How much trial and error did it take to find like the perfect?
Not too much. I mean, you just need one little panel, and we usually just etch a bunch of little, maybe 2 by 2 centimeter squares, and you just start with that.
So anytime we get a
It's
new
always the
case,
same.
we get a sample of the case, or we get a sample of the front panel, and we do that whole test cut. I don't have it.
All right, I think we cleaned up for your end, so all that stuff's gone.
Hey, Fighting Falcon, thanks. Thank you to everybody that's actually been donating to the channel. It means a lot. It really does.
Well, I guess
There we
this
go.
was a sample.
Fighting Falcon's been around forever. Fighting Falcon's actually one of my fans from back before. I think I think I had 10,000 subscribers.
Oh, here it comes.
Oh,
So we
we're
have to
getting
play
there.
around with the power of the laser and the speed.
Yeah.
And those are the kind of the two knobs we can turn.
Yeah, because the slower you etch, the better it's going to look.
Yeah.
Because you get less jarring at the ends. It's just like a 3D printer.
Right.
But the slower you go, you have to turn the power down, and there's a minimum power you can use.
That looks tack sharp.
Yeah, this etches really nicely.
Yeah, this material is amazing. Some of
I
the
love
other
I
stuff-
love how white it comes out too.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah, anodized aluminum and anodized metal in general is amazing.
which you wouldn't expect. So the anodization must not go that deep into the metal.
No, it's not. No.
It's kind of strange though that it's coming out white instead of like. So you'd almost expect it to come out silver, but the laser must burn it or
Yeah,
do something to it.
It does. I'm not exactly sure what, but
Well, and some of it might even just be how much contrast there is to black. It could
it's
end up
pretty
looking.
white, yeah, though. But yeah, like acrylic etch is really nice. Like clear acrylic because that etches white again.
Hey,
But
what
then,
kind of
like,
gas
black-
does this thing use in the tube? Somebody thought it was an argon laser.
CO2.
It's a
I think
CO2
It's a
laser?
CO2 laser.
Okay,
yes.
CO2 laser, guys.
So it's not a full spectrum. So there's different kind of lasers you can get. The ones that you usually see for engraving and etching like this are not full spectrum. Once you go up to full spectrum, then you can start doing some interesting stuff. You can actually start cutting metal.
Okay.
We're actually shopping one right now. We'll have to bump up to a 400 watt laser.
Jeez.
And at that point, then we can start cutting like 1.2 millimeter metal.
What's the efficiency in converting the power to the actual laser? I mean, what's the power consumption on
That's
this
a
thing?
really good question.
I have no
I don't
idea.
know. I have
Really?
no idea.
Because I mean, I mean, I know this is no basis for power consumption, but that thing looks like it would suck quite a bit of power.
Yeah, well, when it fires, if it ever like skips anything, you'll notice the lights will brighten a little bit.
Oh,
Well-
just from basically initializing the laser, the initial
Yeah.
power
And
that
I
it
guess
needs
it
to
tells
fire
you a
up.
lot that we have to chill cool the laser. That means it can't be that efficient.
That's
Yeah.
that's
But, you know,
absolutely true.
It all turns into heat. We have to heat the warehouse anyway. So, you know.
Damon Goldsmith said, "Nerdgasm is so hard right now. This is amazing."
Hey, your face is halfway.
Hey, John, is it okay if I just put a permanent camera in here on your laser
Like
etcher and just live stream it 24/7?
That's a really good idea.
Why don't you do that?
Well, we have one.
We
for
have one for
internal.
ourselves up in the ceiling up there.
Hey, would you guys be interested in seeing like an actual like 24/7 live stream or whatever? Just
It would
a
be
live stream
so
during business.
boring.
No, but that's the funny thing is, have you ever seen the zoo live streams that they do?
Sure.
Like they'll do a live stream and the animals won't come out for like 8 or 10 hours and they're
You-
off at the vet or they're
You
sleeping in
just
the
see
den.
like 8
Yeah.
hours of us cutting GPU braces.
If we have to ever have to etch for the government, we'd have to cover up the camera.
Well, guys, there are 3,319 people watching this right now, so I would say that people are entertained by a laser
Yeah.
drawing my face
Hey,
on
we're
metal.
pretty entertained with the lasers.
I'd like to think it's my face, though, guys. If the reason why you're watching this is because it's my face being etched on it, press 1. If you hate my guts and love Puget Systems, press 2.
Well, this is gonna be
We'll
good.
put it to a vote.
People answering yes.
Yes, that wasn't one of the options.
No, there's a latency. There's about a 30-second latency. They're answering yes to the live stream of the
I thought they were
laser.
answering yes to your face.
Got it.
Elzarno 92. Here you go. 10 Mexican pesos for you. I don't think a peso is worth $1, is it? Has our economy gone that
I
bad?
I
have
think
no
you get a few more pesos.
Yeah, I think
But-
yeah.
Hey, now you can buy that many more.
Oh, it's pretty even split.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Oh, wow. Look at all those 2s. There's a 3 in there, too. I'm deeply offended. I like all the 3s. 1.5, 6. Oh, my God. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. You know what? I saw a lot more 2s in there than I was expecting.
What did 2 mean?
2 means that they hate my guts but love Puget Systems.
Okay.
Well,
So-
the question is, which one do they?
I was kind of hoping by putting hate my guts in there that it would kind of lean people towards 1, but oh my God.
You forget it's the internet.
Jeez, you guys, man,
So what's cool about the way this laser works?
I can't handle this trolling.
So
What about it?
there's a big laser. So I don't know where am I on camera?
Here,
Yeah.
let's get
So-
you,
I'll
here,
tell you what, you
here we
get
go.
on the other side,
Well, not on me.
Yeah,
Laser.
oh wait, here.
Okay.
All
So
right.
I think
in the
it's
back,
perfect.
so the laser itself is actually back here, right? And then what happens is the laser comes out and it bounces with mirrors and ends up going down onto the material. So there's actually not, it's just kind of bouncing all over the place. And to go up to the next level of laser, this is what we're looking at. We're not going to get this one. Apparently the next level is a fiber laser, where instead of using mirrors, it actually travels through a fiber optic cable and then goes down.
What's the tube that we see going to the laser
I
tip
believe
right
that
there?
is-
It's an air assist. It just blows.
Oh, the
Projectile off
debris from the
It
laser
keeps it from
disintegrating.
going up the nozzle and then.
Yeah, because that's quite literally disintegrating material. I
Yes.
mean, that's what
Oh,
it's
yeah.
doing, right? Vaporizing
Yeah.
You
stuff.
can't really. It must be etching pretty cleanly here because
Why don't I make this
Yeah,
thing
there's
locked
not
down
much
so it doesn't do
blowback.
this?
There's not much blowback
Oh,
with
okay.
this material. There's other stuff. Well, like
Damn
the
it, Graham, I'm
laptop.
doing your job for you. Come on. I'm stealing Graham's
Get
job.
on in that frame.
I'm sorry, here, I'm going to go stand
Get
over
on
here.
in that frame.
Well, like your laptop, when we etched that right before the live stream, I mean, you saw all the
I'm just going to stand over here and look sexy.
that we
Over
had to
here.
clean off afterwards.
Over here, buddy. Over here. Come on, over here.
That's the. I think that's the max distance I can actually go on this. Hold on here.
This is pretty cool.
oh, it's taped down.
Yeah, don't do
I know. I was like tapping on that. Ugh, that would have been bad.
But yeah, the emergency stop. Oh,
You know what? The live stream would have gone crazy because the internet loves to troll me. If you guys too are considering creating your own YouTube channels and being a famous internet celebrity, do it. You'll never get trolled. Nobody will ever be mean to you. Everybody on the internet's nice. It's a complete misconception that people troll and are mean on the internet. I've never had that. I mean, John, have you ever seen that? Have you ever seen people on the internet be rude? I've personally never seen it.
Well, I'm not on YouTube as much as you are,
That's true.
but
That's true.
yeah.
I mean, I felt compelled to go on record and tell everybody out there that nobody on the internet is mean. It's basically like the Partridge Family with ones and zeros. It really is. Because I am a very, very sensitive man. Oh, dude, look at that. You got a camera on you.
Oh, I do? Oh,
Yeah.
Great. Didn't even know.
That's a wicked angle, though. That's kind of cool to see that. I don't think we even got that good of footage when we were etching the other computer. The original William, yeah.
Well, in that one we edged, it was the front and the window, right? I
Yes.
think that's right. And the
Yes.
window edged really nicely because I was clear acrylic.
Yep.
But the front, since it's crackle, it's just plastic.
Still looked good,
But
though.
it still looked
It
good,
still looked
yeah.
good. Not as sharp
But
as
it's
that,
not.
though. That is
Yeah.
crazy sharp. Hey, would you guys like to see me review a laser cutter at some time? Because a couple of companies were interested in having me review
should do
one.
that.
So,
You have space for one?
no, but I'll put it on the kitchen table.
One like this.
You can cut
Yeah.
like leather. I bet you could cut a steak.
Hey, if you guys
Yeah.
ever want to try it out, I have a 3.5 foot by 3.5 foot CNC machine, 3-axis CNC machine, the X card from Inventables.
Yeah.
I'd be happy to throw that in the truck and loan it to you guys for a month or something if you want to like fart around with it.
Huh.
I mean, that will you if you put
Can you cut metal with it?
yes.
Really?
But to cut really thick metal, you need to upgrade the rotating end basically to a router.
Yeah.
They make a kit to do it. Inventable said they'd already sent it to me. So you put a DeWalt router basically on it. With the DeWalt router, the thing will cut through like thick stuff.
Yeah. Well, we are looking for a way right now to start getting into metal cutting.
Yep.
There's a lot of the bracing that we're doing right now with acrylic that we think we could do even better if we could work three-dimensionally
Right.
and start making metal brackets. We shop for CNC plasma cutters,
Oh.
and
yeah.
those, man, we could cut 3/4 inch steel with that.
The only problem with plasma though is it's not that clean of a cut.
Exactly.
And you can only go, it has a pretty high minimum
Yep.
diameter, so we couldn't get down to 632 screws or something.
What I like about the actual CNC, oh, this thing's so precise you can cut circuit boards with it.
Oh.
It'll actually etch copper circuit boards.
Wow.
And you put this bit on it, I'm not even kidding you, it looks like a human hair. And you put this little human bit in it, and it actually goes and draws a little line to separate the copper from the fiberglass layer.
Interesting.
No, it's absolutely amazing piece of equipment. And the software is really easy to use. And the other thing I like about a subtractive method like that, whereas the laser you can basically just vaporize material, you can change the power of it, but you can't change the contour of the bite.
No.
With the bits, you can actually put bits like this. You can put rounded bits, like if you want to do like rounded text.
Yeah.
The type of bit that you put on there can give you a lot of flexibility in how you do things. And so if you plan out the design and you can also stop it too. You can say I want to do part of the design with a plunge bit and then switch out to a smaller one to do like the detail bowl, switch out to a bigger one to remove more material. And the software can figure that all out so that it'll just stop the machine, move the head, lift it up, put another bit in it, say go, and it goes right back and resumes where it left off.
Oh, maybe we should look at that.
No, I think it'd be cool to see what you guys could do with it.
Nice thing with lasers, though, and kind of plasma, but you don't have to worry about supporting anything.
That's true.
And you don't have to once you finish a cut, it's not going to like fling something or anything like that. You don't have to hold anything down.
They came up with a pretty clever way to pin the material down on the X card, though. It's basically a huge grid of nuts that are buried under the wood, and so just about every couple of inches you can put a nut down through with a brace and just fasten it down to the material.
Huh.
And so it gives you a lot of flexibility in how you hold the material.
Huh.
But you're right, the laser thing, you just chuck it in there and it just
Yeah,
goes.
you don't have to.
Yeah.
Unless it's so light that the air resistance is going to blow it around.
I tried to get Glowforge to send me one. Glowforge, you guys are so awesome, you don't even need my help. They're like, nah, we don't need you to review one. We already sold like every single one we've ever made and every one we're gonna make, so
Because
we're
Glowforge,
cool.
that's a fairly low wattage.
It's a very low
So
wattage one.
It's etching, and then you can probably cut like wood, paper, maybe leather.
Pretty much, but the thing I liked about it was how user friendly it was.
Yeah.
You quite literally don't even have to line anything up. You can just throw a piece of material in there, like jacked up at an angle and sideways. I saw it at Maker Faire, or not? Maker Faire in New York, and it literally figures out how to do it. And it'll actually like move everything to keep the laser in focus.
Huh.
They do a demo with their software. Where they basically throw a MacBook Pro in there, and they take an image and just drag it over. And the MacBook Pro is like completely crooked, and it actually etches it perfectly square on it.
Huh.
And it looks good too. It's actually a pretty nice looking piece.
So I see a smoke detector up there. You guys have any fires or any issues in this?
No.
So the thing you have to think about with laser machines like this is when you're cutting up material, you're putting it falls down through the grates
Yep.
down into the laser. Clean that out regularly because it just becomes a fuel source that these bits you just burned off are falling down, which means they were on fire seconds ago and some of them smolder a little bit.
Uh-huh.
So yes, we have burned one of these up. It was not
Whoa.
good. And it's a plastic fire on top of all that.
So are you guys like more careful about keeping an eye on it? Like when it's running now, you always have somebody
this
in
one,
here?
Now we have a camera on the machine.
Gotcha, that makes sense.
Well, in this machine, they made some improvements. The old one, it was just a flat bed underneath and everything just fell in. You had to clean it up manually. This one, it's actually a funnel down to something at the bottom. It's just a tray. So something would have to be burning, fall down, roll all the way down into the tray, and then ignite. And that's
like I've never had a fire with a 3D printer, but I've had some close calls.
Yeah.
Like, you definitely want to respect technology that's melting and burning things. I once had came into my 3D printer. The print head was completely cased in plastic because what had happened was my print came dislodged. I'm very careful now about gluing things down properly to the platform because it came undone. And then what happened is it kept extruding material and it started curling up around the hot end. When I came back, about 1/4 roll of filament was amassing the entire print head in a giant blob of plastic that was moving like this, and smoke was actually coming off of it.
Wow.
It never caught fire, but still, it like freaked me out. It took a while to clean that off. So I definitely try to monitor my 3D printers, but I still every once in a while do like prints like the whole Stormtrooper suit. The printer was running like 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
So, you know, I just calculated risk, kept a fire extinguisher next to it.
Yep.
Yeah, we've got fire extinguishers like everywhere now.
Fire extinguishers are good if you're in 3D printing or playing with high-powered lasers. Oh man, that looks so good.
Yeah, we're almost done here.
I don't know, there's just something really badass about having a computer that has like your name or your logo on it.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like race cars. You know, it's not really a race car until you have your name under the driver's
Yeah.
door. It's like that's what this is like.
It's interesting. I mean, get a $10,000 computer, and it's more about the editing. We found that with some other people we've worked with, and even with some customers. There's something about seeing your name on it.
That's why
And you know,
my computer-
and I used to think that was mostly like an enthusiast type of thing.
Right? Oh my god! It's done!
But we found that scientists are kind of of the same mind. They want to see their name on it. They want to see their school on it. So what was that? What's that material?
This is just like rubbing alcohol.
Alright.
There you go.
Oh, dude.
That's great.
That is going to be the front of my HTPC. And that is just freaking cool. And the best part about it is it's not a vinyl sticker. That is never coming off. That will, when Fallout 4 happens in real life, this is still going to be buried under some earth saying Barnacules Nerdgasm on it. I'm super excited.
Who's that guy?
Yeah, well, come on, dude. Come on, I'm more famous than PewDiePie. Not really. All right, so we should probably get this back over to Houston.
Yeah, he's ready for it.
Get it slapped on the computer, and this is going to be exciting. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God.
Nice clay.
It's all nice and quiet now. Oh, yes. Yes, dude, this is exciting. Yeah. Hey, why are you taking the camera away? I was making out with my faceplate here. Oh, sorry. I'm not being helpful.
I'll give you that.
I'm gonna start being helpful. And we lost all our viewers. Wow, there's still over 3,000 people in here watching the stream. That's all you guys. I don't pull 3. I pull like 500. People like you guys because you're very likable. John is like the biggest nerd in the world, and I love this guy.
You gonna Photoshop a pocket protector on me again?
I'm going to. I forgot about that. I forgot about that. Please tell me that's your wallpaper on a computer somewhere. Oh, did you see that? Oh, nose cam.
little
Watch,
nose
all the
cam.
viewers are going to go, Meow. It's all right. It's always good to
Here's
chase
our,
off the viewers.
This is our mobile streaming station here.
Oh, yeah. You guys want to see my laptop? Little heads up. That is the beast. Oh, getting sued by Microsoft for singing Halo songs.
I thought that was a monk chant.
This may actually be like kind of like a wives' tale kind of thing, but I heard that one guy got copyright flagged on YouTube for humming a song, because the original song there was humming in it, and he hummed that part, and it was a close enough match that it actually flagged
That's
his
actually
stuff.
impressive.
Yeah, no, they're getting really good at identifying stuff. That's why I use Audio Sprite's music, guys. Go check out Audio Sprite. He does really, really cool video game music. I use it in almost all my videos. The dude's awesome. He does a lot of charity work too, so I have mad respect for him. Okay, we're heading back. Oh, look, it's Beardosaur. We missed you.
I'll do this one.
We're back, guys. You want to see this place here? I'm gonna do a little rotation here. All right, look at this. Look at this place. That's kind of cool. The screen that you guys got up there too.
It helps us know when deliveries are here or if somebody's here late at night. We can kind of keep an eye on our own parking lot.
No, I really like your layout. You guys have actually grown quite a bit. Like
Even just since you're
since
here.
I originally came here, like when we started working together, it's like your company is noticeably bigger.
So when
This
you're
is
here
cool.
next, we
Yeah.
actually have construction starting this week. Our second floor, we're
Yep.
adding 2 more offices, and then the first floor we're changing around, so it'll look a lot different next time.
This is cool. This is cool. I always have a fun time coming out here too. You guys are always awesome to hang out with. Can't have a bad time at Puget Systems. Oh, this way? Yeah. No. We're flying over here, moving the tripod.
I got it.
Okay. Let's go ahead and switch to view number 2. I'm digging OBS.
It's working.
There we go. We are back in business. Guys, how professional is that? We just seamlessly moved the entire live stream to another room and back without stopping it. I am elated. Am I using that word properly? Elated.
Oh, good.
Here.
Oh, I thought you guys would be back with that.
We are back. Oh, hold on. I'm trying to get the comments, guys. Trying to get them comments. I can't believe we still have over 3,000 viewers after like 2 hours. This is-
are
this
over
is
2 hours.
over 2 hours.
Jeez.
This is a long stream.
Sorry, Houston.
It's how long it takes.
Houston, you're famous. Hey, Houston, do you got a Twitter or something you want to shout out? You want a bunch of friends?
I'm auxiliary pretty much everywhere. Twitch, YouTube.
Auxiliary, spell that out for the people.
AUXXZILLARY.
AUXXZILL
ARY.
Auxiliary.
Sometimes with an underscore, but I try to squish it all together.
All right, I'm putting you in chat right now. Go follow Auxiliary everywhere.
It's Twitch, Twitter.
Talk about
my
his beard.
email
often.
address.
That's what I'm typing in chat right now.
What am I missing?
I love this laptop. This is cool. I am so happy to have a laptop again. Dome Shining. Oh, thank you so much, Dome Shining, for the donation. I appreciate it.
Oh, there we go.
No, it's pretty funny. Did you see, John? Did you see the Christmas thing I did that Xander did?
Yeah.
The video. Did you see
Yeah,
that?
yeah, the
That
unwrapping.
was just a home video that I just started the camera. I cannot believe that he took to the camera like that. It actually like blew my mind, and so I'm actually considering doing like a little YouTube channel for him, where like once a week he can just like show one of his toys off. Because we got him this little action camera, and all he does is tell the thing everything. The dude treats
That's
the camera
funny.
like it's his best friend.
Well,
and I was
that's
like,
he's watching you.
no, he definitely is emulating what I'm doing, and it made me really proud. So I was like, you know what, I might do a little YouTube channel just for him, little side thing. Just let him, just let him do whatever he wants, and then edit all the curse words out. Make you laugh.
There we go.
Oh
So
god,
we
that
have,
front plate makes all the difference.
So the front port's actually attached to that front plate.
Oh,
Right.
yeah, that's all behind here.
Damn, this comment is truly fancy.
I don't know.
So funny the stuff that people say in chat. Well, here, let's. I'm gonna let Graham sit here, and let's do another question spree. You want to go check our Twitter there, boss?
Yep, it's been a while. Time to get back to
Yep.
Twitter.
John, your laptop is
Twitterverse.
using fantastically.
Oh, good.
I might actually just use that laptop for all my live streams now because I like the idea that it's just super mobile,
Sure.
self-contained.
Sure,
Even
sure.
though I got my big computer up there, I think it'd be cool just to have the laptop there.
It's
Just
a little
dedicated.
crazy that we finished it like 20 minutes before you got here, but but it's working out.
Yeah, we aren't joking. If you guys go look at the Instagram, I posted a picture of it being laser etched, and that was about 15 minutes before
Like
4.
as we were setting up camera.
Yeah, we were booting the computer out of the laser etcher on our way over here and set it all. I still can't believe that the stream worked out this good after setting it up. That's nuts. I love it.
So does Puget Systems have a YouTube channel that people can check out?
We do. I believe our handle there is Puget Sys, PUGETSYS. We don't post incredibly often. We'll post often in tandem with some article we're putting out. Occasionally we'll record some videos of our different builds. We actually do quite a few videos, or we're gearing up to do quite a few videos, because it's something we would like to add to all of the builds that we do for customers,
see me.
where we actually do a tour around the, so it's not just a photo, we actually do a video tour around the computer. But those are all actually unlisted, so they won't show up on our channel.
Gotcha. Well, this obviously we didn't have enough time beforehand, but I'm definitely going to help Puget Systems learn how to get the live streaming stuff all set up with the multicam and everything like that.
I'd say we'd like to get into that. We actually did a customer webinar last week, teaching them like tips and things that they should
Yep.
be doing to maintain their computers, and we had really good interest on that as well. So yeah,
I mean, look
think
how many
we'll be doing
people
this
just
more.
like seeing something like this. I mean, how cool would it be just like whenever you guys come up with a new system or something like that, come in
take a
here and
look.
do a little live stream of it.
Sure. Sure.
I'll even tune in and troll your chat. It'll be awesome. No, I'm serious. Like the 3,000 people, that is an abnormal number of people for one of my live streams. Because I don't live stream that often, and even when I do, I'm 500 or 1,000 people.
Sure.
It's obvious that people are very, very interested in the CPU building aspect.
And we didn't finalize this till last week, right?
No,
That we were even going to do this.
No, this was a very, very rapid development.
So another question from Twitter from
Yeah.
Sean. So he's curious about protective coatings on the etchings, and do you guys need to apply anything before you actually etch
That's a good question.
material?
Boy, our etching expert is in here. I in general, no. I'm sure there are some materials where we have to do that. The thing we have to be careful about is to not use so much laser power that we etch deep into the metal. If we were to etch, even deeper, then there would be a coating that was gone and it would rust over time. As long as we're careful to just take off that top layer of the anodization, then we have not seen a problem with that.
Oh, I actually see the audio. I think I turned it down
Yeah, you
when we
turned
were
us
in
down
there.
a little bit when we went into the.
Uh-oh, what'd I just do? What'd I do? Oh, we're good. All right,
There we go.
let's bring it up a little bit.
Perfect.
All
Now,
right.
there's other things that
Sorry,
we etch,
guys.
like when we etch into plastic, it doesn't. There's nothing at all. I mean, you're just etching into more plastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, also, just in case you guys are wondering, we're not using the webcam audio. We actually are using a Rode shotgun mic connected to a Zoom H4n audio interface connected to the laptop via USB, and that's what's allowing us to be really, really mobile and still have a very high-quality audio. Hey, look at that. Graham's showing it off. Show it off, Graham. Can we get a pan? Can you do? People love that. The smooth panning. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Show it to them.
Buttery smooth. On
No,
that
it's so
one.
funny. I do. Well, obviously, you guys watching have seen a lot of my unboxing videos. I handhold all my B-roll, so it's just a little bit shaky, a little bit. And I like the amateur nature of it because I'm like, I want everything that I do to be very, very just genuine and as I'm seeing it. But there are people out there that literally will only watch a video if the B-roll is all smooth and on a slider.
Uh-huh.
Like literally, they'll watch the video. What's
make-
up? Oh, are you one of those people? Yeah, Graham, the person who's operating the stream right now, actually is from Volair Media. They shoot all my drone videos. You guys, if you've ever seen any of the drone
okay.
videos
Okay.
out at Dirtfish Rally School, that's Graham and his crew doing all of that. So you can notice a very, very different quality in the video when Graham's involved. Because if I'm out there, I'm just like running around with the cameras, like, hey, look at drone guys, woo! And Graham's like got the Ronins with like gyro stabilized gimbals and stuff. No, I love working with Volair. Plus they work really cheap. They're
Another question from Twitter, from Tin Chalks.
Tin Chalks?
Do you use Corel Draw?
Nobody uses Corel Draw. That's like
Isn't-
WordPerfect,
is-
dude. Like that died
Wasn't
like 20
that
years ago.
1998 Corel Draw was like the big popular thing.
I used Corel Draw once when
they're
I was like
still-
12.
They're still around.
They're still
but-
making it, right?
Are they really?
Uh-huh.
No, we use AutoCAD for etching.
I think Corel Draw is one of those programs where the only reason you use it is because you've been using it for 30 years and you don't know anything else.
Another question here from Twitter is just rough. Somebody's asking about earnings for system builders. Like, is it a good solid career? I mean, what does a system builder make on average? I don't know. You guys don't have to answer
Houston's
that.
like, oh my god, shut up! I was informed not to
I'm
say.
I
It.
mean, you're driving Bentleys and Porsches, right?
No, but
I don't know what it works out to per year, but
It's a good living salary, I think, is what they're asking as a system builder.
yeah, I mean, we'll start in the 15 to 18
Oh,
range,
geez, that's
and
good.
as you get experienced, and I think the biggest thing that we do here is we ask people to take on more responsibilities. So it's not just computer building; it's computer building and something else, and kind of the specialty you take on can kind of dictate the pay scale. But low 20s, mid 20s, it's not unheard of.
Here's an interesting question. When you guys are doing hiring and stuff like that, do you ever put anything up on Puget Systems or whatever, like feelers, like, hey, submit your resumes? Like, how do you guys recruit?
We start with an internal email and say, is there somebody that you would recommend? And we kind of start with that social network.
Well, now I'm
Just-
going to get 5,000 emails. No, I'm just kidding.
and then because it's
Yeah.
easier to hire people that you already know, you already
Sure.
trust.
Yep.
From there, we'll often go to even like Craigslist and start posting. And in fact, I think we did a lot of the hiring here this time around. That's where we're on Craigslist. Mm-hmm. And we've learned a lot in this last year, actually, with the 6 hires we did this year. It used to be, it would just be, I would sit down with the person in a room and we'd talk for an hour and then I'd have to make a decision. And we made a decision this time around that we're actually going to bring people back and have them put together a computer, and everyone else back here can talk with them and just kind of try to keep it casual. But I'm sure, well, he's probably can say it's probably really scary to bring somebody through an interview and like now stand in front of these 6 experienced people and put a
Yep.
computer together. So we tried to keep it casual, but we found that it actually did a really good job in identifying people's comfort level with hardware, ability to multitask, and just kind of get along with everyone here. We developed what we called the baby test. And that was born out of when, you probably had this experience as well,
Yep.
when my first son was born. I was amazed at how the nurses were just like throwing him around and just handling him, and that's because they were so
Yeah.
comfortable. They knew what would hurt him and what wouldn't hurt him.
Mm-hmm.
And so we found that there are some people that come in and they're just careless with hardware. They're going to damage things. And there are other people that come in and they're too gentle. You can tell they're too nervous around hardware. They don't have a lot of experience.
Right.
So we developed, we call it the baby test. Are they comfortably rough with hardware?
Interesting.
It's kind of a proof point we were looking for.
No, as a father myself, I definitely understand that because my son was born premature. So he had to be in like this little giraffe bed and everything. So that he had to be meticulously handled with gloves and everything. And when I'd see the nurses come in and like reach into the bed, grab him with one hand, flip him upside down because I mean they had to because if they didn't move him quickly, he could move and hurt himself. So they intentionally did things quickly sometimes, and it would freak me out. I mean, I was like, I'd immediately like, see the red.
The first nurse, I thought, I don't like that nurse.
No, I
thought they were mishandling her.
No, I'll be honest. I even like complained. Like the first nurse, like when she was handling for the week, I went and talked to him. I was like, oh man, I really don't like the way this nurse. She feels like she's carelessly handling my son. They're like, no, she's like one of the best. Trust me.
Yeah.
Trust me. This is the one that you want. And I was like, this is really weird. But no, that's
So
a
it looks
good
like,
idea.
Houston, you're plugging in the GPU right now?
Yeah,
Yeah, you're
kind of
like,
for the
what-
second
what-
time.
what you
I
working
had to
on?
take it out to get at the screws that hold the faceplate. Again, because it's just so big.
Just a massive card.
But were you leading into a question?
No, I was just watching you and
Oh.
seeing what you were doing and trying to kind of explain to people kind of the next steps and what you're
Houston,
working
he's
on
just
here.
picking
Oh,
on you
actually-
because there's 3,000 people
Yeah, there's
watching
only
you right now, Houston.
3,122 people watching you. So.
almost finished. I think within another maybe 5 minutes we'll do the
We ready to play some Crisis on this thing?
turn it on. No operating system yet. That's,
my gosh.
That goes beyond me.
Houston.
That's
Houston.
what that whole setup over there is all about.
Oh, he's already blaming the other employees. Oh my gosh.
So if Windows isn't updated, that's Kyle's fault.
Kyle, wherever you are.
Probably cursing my name in his living room somewhere.
I'm sad that I don't get to take this home tonight. I really am because I'm itching to be able to hook up my Plex server again that I haven't been able to use for a month and a half.
Oh, yeah.
I really want to get Plex going again. But I am happy I'm taking my laptop home because that laptop, living without a laptop, guys, this is the funny thing is I've never really considered myself that much of a laptop guy. I really hadn't until I sold my laptop.
Sure.
And then I realized how much I would just bust it out laying in bed, take it with me to the coffee shop. It seemed like the second the laptop was gone, all I could think of is, man, how am I surviving without a laptop?
Yeah.
Because even with the awesome computer that I have upstairs, the 350-inch screens, 50-inch screens, like a boss. I get so much grief for that. Why would you use 50-inch screens? But the
39.
39?
That's my main.
Dude, 39's, God, that's like so. Like, why would you even mention that? Come on. No, but I love large screen. I got addicted to it. Like, once I did it, I
Yeah.
can't stop doing it. People are like, oh, wouldn't you rather have a smaller 144 hertz screen?
It makes
No.
sense to me at 4K. Like
Oh, it's
everything's-
beautiful. It's
Yeah.
absolutely beautiful. John, if I ever clean up my house, I will invite you over to experience 350-inch screens. It is absolutely beautiful. I'll even get the racing simulator hooked up too. It's epic
So
with that.
that actually leads into the next question.
Yes.
So people are asking kind of what's the status of the racing sim and are you going to rebuild it?
Yes.
Or what's
Yes,
going
I
on?
actually pulled all of the boxes out. So I have the Fanatic V2 base. I have 2 of the wheels. I have the universal hub kits for them. I have the 8-speed gated shifter. I even have a hydraulic e-brake that's going on it for rally games. And I even had another company approach me. They want me to review their pedal set. They have a really, really cool pedal set. I already have a good pedal set on the simulator, though, from Main Performance PC. But yes, the short answer is yes. I am rebuilding the simulator, and I'm trying to build it to be as professional as humanly possible because I actually want to train on it because I'm going to start doing rallycross events. Like you guys, the video's not out yet because Graham recorded like 800 billion gigabytes of footage and we can't find a viable way to get it to me, except for tonight. I'm finally getting it tonight. But I definitely want to go to these 7 events they're going to do a year. The SCCA is actually going to be doing regular events. And you can do it with any car. You can literally take your Jeep out there, pay $40 and do 5 runs through their course. And I had so
sounds
much
kinda
fun
fun,
doing it.
actually.
Oh, it's a blast. I only got to do 1 run because of a time constraint last time, but oh my gosh, I had so much fun, and it didn't damage my car at all. It really didn't.
So check that out. Look at the
we got
GPU
here?
sag without it being supported.
Wow.
So that's
Oh
why.
yeah, show it to you here. Where's our camera at up there? Can you see it? Yeah. You got the wide shot there?
Yeah,
Okay.
yep.
So that's why it's important you support
That's
those big video cards. And imagine if we were shipping this. Well,
Look
we
how
wouldn't be
much
shipping
stress it's
this.
put. I don't know if you guys can see that, but the actual PCIe slot is bending.
So
That's
can you
how
actually
heavy that
turn
card
it
is.
flat? Just put it flat
Here.
down on the.
I actually want to bring this down just because this is so dramatic. All right, guys, dramatic cam. All right, let's see, where is it? Right here. Yeah. So if you look, can you see that, Graham?
Yep.
Watch, lift the card. See, that's the card supported. Now let it go. Look how much it's bending. The slot.
Here, hold it right back there and then
So
hold
that's
it again.
up.
Yeah,
So
perfect.
that's right there. That's how much it's bending.
Wow.
And that's putting all that stress on the main board.
So that's why we have to brace those GPUs.
Yeah, and guys, that's screwed in.
It's flexing the whole
It's
case. and
that's
everything.
screwed in. So like, wow, that's pretty shocking. I'm surprised that they don't put on the box. You must support this card.
And ideally, we'd have something like this guy,
Yep. So there's the brackets. Yeah, I'm familiar with like those ones.
but because I had to put it in the bottom slot,
We're gonna have to come up with something else.
We'll have to put like some kind of a
So
stand
this
off
is
or
what we have to
something.
do when we do a special build like this.
Yeah.
And even
we'll have
even
to come up with something else.
this particular card, John, the other John,
Yep.
I actually have to cut a special one of these
Oh.
because this Strix card has 3 fans in it.
Yeah.
The blocks that we have rub no matter what.
I
So he
see.
cuts a special without the. It's not a universal one. It's a special arm
So
specifically.
you guys
for
are
this
constantly doing little custom solutions.
And you know, these things are so popular. We made those GPU braces for ourselves, and then we went to PDX LAN, and people loved them. We were handing them out at PDX LAN, and we will. Every time we go to PDX LAN, if you go to PDX LAN, we'll hand out GPU braces for free. But for everyone else, we put them up on our parts store. Just again, we don't really make hardly make a couple bucks.
Yeah.
But they're so popular. They're so popular. They've become such a.
I was about to say I could use a GPU
Yeah.
stand. It's
Well, we'll send you
Yeah.
home with one.
Awesome.
But they've become so popular that it's actually becoming a hindrance to our production flow.
you
It's
can't-
too much time.
Yeah.
So we actually just today, Alicia told me right before we started, we shipped off 200 of them to Amazon.
Wow.
So a couple days here, you'll be able to get them on Amazon with Amazon Prime. Get those GPU braces.
And are they pretty universal? Do they?
Yeah, we make them so. This is the GPU brace with
Can you get the wide shot there, Graham?
the plastic is, or the paper still on it. But we make all these different holes so that the mount point you can move to wherever it works for your video card, and then you can slide it up and down. So they're pretty universal.
wow.
They work with most systems. You just have to have open slot below your video card for it to screw into.
So if somebody wants to find those on Amazon right now. I mean, do you guys have an Amazon link? Or
Not yet. We just shipped them to Amazon for fulfillment today.
when you get the Amazon link, send it to me,
Sure,
and I'll put
sure.
an Amazon link in the video description for this for you. So if
Sure.
you guys come back later, just come back to the video and look at the video description. As these things become available,
In the
I'll put them down below.
In the meantime, they are on our parts store. I would say if you can wait a few days,
Just wait for
it's
Amazon.
way easier to just go to Amazon.
Yeah, and I also have an Amazon affiliate, guys. Every time you shop at Amazon using my affiliate code, which is just
Even better.
yeah, so just amazon.barnerd.com if you're in the UK, amazonuk.barnerd.com. It doesn't matter what you buy. You can buy toilet paper. It actually helps the channel out, so I appreciate it.
Question from Twitter, from Willie.
Ooh.
So current status update on the build. What's left? How much longer? And
Houston, you're up.
does the
Where
beard
we
field
at?
rushed building
beard.
this PC together?
No, no rush. As far as the build part, I'm done putting parts into it. The next part for me is to turn it on and set up the BIOS just so. Set the fan settings for the CPU fan and the case fan. Turn off the serial port. Change the boot options, like turn off fast boot and stuff, which actually I'm just about to do that here. And I don't know if you want to get a shot of the monitor as I'm making those.
Oh yeah, no,
We'll set
I'll
up,
definitely move that over when it's time.
I can almost see the whole thing here. So, yeah,
But
we're
assembly-wise, are we
We're almost
just
there.
about done?
Yeah,
Should
we're
we,
done.
Should we put the CPU brace in so people can see that?
Oh yeah, that's good thinking. We got this here.
So I want to show you guys this as we do. This was the brace I was talking about earlier that allows it to withstand shipping without any foam inside.
And also, I would like to be clear that Houston here, he volunteered to be on this, didn't he?
Yeah.
So he actually did not have a knife held to his throat to do this. So it's not easy for everybody to get in front of the camera. I get a lot of people that email me that are like, I have a really hard, because it is. It's an intimidating thing, especially live. At least video you can edit, right? I mean, like if Houston right now got nervous and dropped that on the floor right now, oh my god, whoa! See?
It's plastic. It's okay.
No, the truth is, guys, if any of you are wondering, like getting into live streaming or video or anything, just like anything else, it's just repetition. After you do it hundreds and hundreds of times, the camera becomes less.
I don't think I've done live before, but you do enough videos, it just kind of.
You just get used to it. Yeah. It's like I'm not worried about it right now. I've already made every mistake. I mean, I've done videos where I've done the truffle shuffle with my shirt off. I've done videos of drunk bobsledding down staircases. Once you do all that stuff, it's like this is a walk in the park. Don't worry, John. We'll get you there. We'll get you there, buddy.
I need one screw.
Actually, I think Houston looks like more of a guy that would do the stair luge.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say you look way more stair lugeable than John.
I've done that. Like a Rubbermaid, like the
Yeah.
the crates that we have here.
What are we talking? Oh, going downstairs.
Yeah, no, I literally did a video called "How to Go Downstairs Drunk," and I'm wearing a snowboard helmet. I got mittens on and everything, and I literally go down on my belly on the stairs, all the way down to the bottom, and survived, as you can tell.
Okay, so that's
So what is it? I keep looking at this.
That's
just a hard drive magnet.
Oh, okay, that's just like what I did under my desk for my knife.
very strong magnets.
That's cool. No, hard drive magnets are awesome, guys. Definitely check out my jerry-rigged episode on how to make a magnetic mount for under your desk using hard drive magnets. Because everybody, when a hard drive goes bad, they usually just chuck them. They just take them out and like mash them. And it's like they've got like really strong magnets in them. Harvest those magnets.
So with this brace in here now, I don't know if we can see it,
Ooh,
but
yeah, let me bring in the
Close up,
camera.
You just switch it around, flip it around. And we'll show
oh yeah, here we go.
Because here's the camera right over
So
here.
now with this brace in here, it's actually just propping up against some square edges in here, and now, like I'm putting significant force on that. That's not going anywhere.
The screws are going right straight through that.
All we did is we just tied into the heat pipes protruding. We just made holes in the exact right spot. That's it.
Awesome.
That's all it took.
Does that improve airflow through the case as well?
It
because
actually
drops
does.
the-
It wasn't our intent at all, but it actually improves temperatures another like degree by doing that. Just a little bit more ducting.
That is awesome. It's the little
Right.
things.
Moment of truth. Make sure I got everything plugged in right.
See if it. No fires, no fires.
Hey, if you guys are enjoying the live stream, hit that like button down below. We really, really appreciate it. That way I can send all these stats to John here at Puget Systems and be like, hey, John, we should do this again. It's pretty successful, John. Can I have 5 more computers? No, I'm just kidding.
So the other thing to see, oh, there you go, we got a post beep. So also up here, where that fan used to be, you can now see there's this acrylic piece and standoffs and acoustic foam. So that's all kind of sound dampened now.
See, that's the last thing you'd think you would do, too, in a high-performance system is remove the biggest fan
Yep,
in the case.
we did it to improve temperatures.
But that improves temperatures. That's crazy. All right,
Now,
so
in
we got
some-
some screen stuff going on here. You
In
want me to
some
bring the-
cases, we can't do that actually.
I got the screen on the.
Oh, is it big
I can
enough?
see I can see everything.
Sorry.
That's all right.
I ruined everything. I done messed it up.
Oh, Jerry Gone touched it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should be careful with that whole removing the fan comment. We only do that for these types of builds. We found with X99 systems.
Wait,
Oh,
what?
that's interesting.
You
That's
guys
our.
have your logo on there?
Oh, that,
I saw a Seahawks
wait,
logo
that
too.
boots to
Oh, okay. I thought that was the BIOS post screen. I was like, how'd you guys do
Azus
that?
does that for us.
Really? That's
the
funny.
tools USB.
But yeah, X99 systems, we actually don't remove that fan. We need to actually, there's more heat generated. We have to get it out of there.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right, so.
We're in the BIOS.
So at this point, I used to have when I was first hired, I wrote all this stuff down so that I could remember it all, and now it's just muscle memory.
You've just done it so many times.
So
Yep.
we gotta make sure that the virtualization is turned on, and then just recently we turn on the VTD and
I'm going to bring in the microphone a little bit closer here. No worries. Just speak normal. You don't have to focus
Okay.
on yelling or nothing.
like I said, we make sure that the Intel virtualization is turned on.
Why do you make sure the Intel virtualization is turned on? Do you know?
I don't recall the reasoning. I know I did ask at first, and I don't recall exactly
Honestly,
the
I don't
reasoning
either.
behind that.
There's sometimes where the policy's been there and you don't recall why. It must have been some software package we discovered in support wouldn't work properly unless that was on.
Yeah, because I've
Okay.
seen, I know a lot of stuff uses the hardware virtualization, but I've also seen some people talk about an actual performance bump by disabling it in some games. I don't know if there's an overhead by having that enabled,
Yeah.
but I know to use Hyper-V, you have to have it enabled.
Yeah, well, and certainly, like if you're in VirtualBox, you're going to get a lot better performance.
That's true.
You
That's
might
true.
Actually, it might actually be necessary to have that enabled.
And then we also turn on multi-monitor support, and
I love virtualization. I'm actually going to be running, probably not all the time, but I probably will run a VM on here. Just have Linux on there just so I can run some of the software that's on there, like some of the emulators and stuff like that. I love emulators, guys. I'm definitely putting like every emulator known to man on this thing because I want to hook up a wireless. I also have a 9-foot cabled Nintendo controller
Okay.
So I'm gonna put NES. What is it? I can't remember the name of it. Really good NES emulator out there, but I'm definitely gonna put that on there in my NES game collection.
Is it Dolphin? Is that what it's called?
No, that's the Nintendo 64 emulator.
Okay.
But that would totally run flawlessly on this.
Let's make sure SATA's AHCI.
No, I have a friend that actually has it's a way bigger one. It has 2 Titan X Blacks in it. That he did some crazy build. It was over $10,000 to build that system. But he has this thing called Hyperspin. Have you ever seen that? It's like an OS on top of an OS for emulators.
Okay.
And you literally put all the games in there, and it like categorizes it and everything, so they're all in their own little boxes. And I mean, it had everything on it. It had like Texas TI, Texas Instrument. What is it? The TI-84A.
Oh, geez.
Is it like all the really old stuff? Commodore 64, Atari 5400, and you could literally just like flip through and open any game, and it automatically mapped everything to his wireless controller. So he had like an Xbox controller, and he could play any console, anything. Like even like old stuff like ColecoVision
That
and.
sounds fun.
No, I definitely want to do something like that.
So I've got another question for you guys. Do you build many Linux machines?
We do, especially in our scientific applications. That's pretty Linux dominated. So right now we offer Ubuntu. We do CentOS. That's used more on the scientific side. So that's a derivative of Red Hat.
Oh wow, I've never even heard of that distribution.
CentOS, yeah. Well, CENTOS. Yeah, it's basically the open source version of Red Hat.
Wow.
And we've dabbled in other things. Sometimes we have to use Fedora when we're using really bleeding edge hardware. But
I've
again,
used Fedora.
Going back to like standardization, we're trying to keep our options limited so we can do a better job. So most of the time we see for consumers Ubuntu, for scientists CentOS.
Do you have anybody that works here that runs Linux as their primary desktop operating system?
Primary desktop.
Yeah.
I think Keenan.
Over there.
I think Keenan runs Linux.
You're the Linux guy?
Well, I mean, I dual boot, so.
Let me ask you a question though. Is it just because you're anti-Microsoft, or do you think Linux is a superior operating system?
I think from a
Don't answer that.
security standpoint, Linux is a superior operating system.
I agree with you fully.
But all of our servers run Linux too.
One of the nice things about Linux is the kernels are all open source, so you can white box test them and find security flaws, which you can't do with Windows. With Windows, you don't ever have access to the source code, so you have to basically black box your way into everything.
Okay, so that's.
But I still run Windows because I'm lazy and Linux is too hard to learn everything.
So got another comment from
Yeah.
from YouTube here. So
Ooh.
Clark.
Sup, Clark
Clark is
Kent?
asking if he actually is requesting that you guys do a live stream or video on the aerodynamics of the case. And how it is air.
That wouldn't be a bad idea to
So,
do like
yeah,
a follow up to this sometime
with
where we
or
go to
without the
different
top-
stations
top fan.
and do the thing.
Sure.
Some smoke tests.
Yeah, we actually had in fact, we might still have it, a fog machine. And there was a time where we were doing smoke tests. It isn't as exciting as it sounds like. What we've ended up doing is basically we run it under load, we look at the thermal output, or I'm sorry, the thermal image, and you just kind of have to deduce what the airflow patterns are.
Oops. I didn't do that.
Oh, that's all right.
They're still
Where are they going? How many are in here?
4.
Houston, stop doing that.
So I mean, really,
Normally I
these
would have zip
days,
tied the all together.
it's less complicated than it was in the past. It used to be there is chips all over the place you had to cool, voltage regulators, and now it's like GPU, CPU. And so as long as you kind of have a strategy for how to get that heat out of there, it's becoming less difficult.
I detect redneck wind tunnel. Let's do it. Get some cardboard boxes and some duct tape.
We did that. We actually had we would put an acrylic panel over the
Yep.
side of the computer, and then we would put the fog machine up front and watch it go through. But what we found is, even with all that effort, we didn't really learn anything. It was all stuff we already kind of knew.
Gotcha.
More questions. This one's specific to a particular game. So people are looking to, if they want to say play Fallout in 1080, what would be a good GPU to play any sort of current?
The most expensive one available, not made by AMD. Next. No, I'm just kidding.
980 Ti.
Well, I mean, you start getting diminishing returns after a while, right? I mean,
Sure.
like the 980 Ti overclocked slightly is almost as fast as, what is it, like the Titan? Is it the Titan or Titan X?
Titan X.
I think they're pretty close, but the price difference is like enormous,
Yep.
right? So you start getting diminishing returns. So it depends. If you have the money, then go with the highest end thing NVIDIA makes. But honestly, you back off a notch or two.
970 is a real nice sweet
Yeah,
spot.
I mean, a
960.
970 would do everything you need. And 1080p, Like, unless you're doing 4K gaming,
Yeah.
I mean, you can max out just about everything at 1080p. You know, with I wouldn't say low end, but like you said, like a 970 would probably do it. I found, geez, the two 980 Ti's in William. I was playing Star Wars Battlefront at 4K with everything maxed out, and I was still staying over 30 frames per second on the 50-inch screen. And I have to say, on a 50-inch screen at 4K, there is definitely a difference. Now, the only problem you run into is some input lag stuff. Like, you definitely notice more input lag at the higher resolution, and that probably has more to do with the programming itself. But gosh, did that look good. I was like, oh man, if 4K is the future of gaming, that's wicked. But even on my 4K panels, I play mostly at 1080 because I value the higher frame rate over the resolution for most stuff.
So we were doing a study. Matt, in fact, was doing a study on. I don't want to say the resolution of the eye, but the sensitivity of the eye.
Yep.
And at what point 4K like actually makes a difference.
Yeah.
And so that article's on our website as well. But we actually then also extrapolated that to VR and said, okay, now you have a screen right here.
Yep.
What resolution do you need until your eye can't see anything more? And it ended up being like 8K per eye. So we have a long ways to go before we saturate VR.
Well, one thing I noticed with like the 50-inch screen, a lot of people are like, oh my God, everything must be huge on that. No, you got to realize that 4K, that's like having 320, it's like having like 320-inch or 22-inch screens. Or four 22-inch screens and a grid. And if you look at a 22-inch screen at 1080p, it's tack sharp.
Yeah.
So just imagine the 50-inch is just like having 4 of those in an array.
That's one of the things I like most about 4K. So like the laptop you have here, that's 4K.
Which blows my mind at 15 inches. It's like, wow.
That is the cutoff point, by the way. If you sit back, your eye won't be able to tell the difference. If you lean forward, it can. So that's kind of the cutoff point where 4K makes sense. But the thing I like the most about 4K is you can do all of your office applications and editing and rendering and Photoshop and all that in 4K. And if you get a particularly demanding game, just drop it to 1080. It's pixel perfect to 4K.
Well, we dropped it to 1080 to disable the DPI scaling.
Yeah,
I can't tell that it's not a native 1080p panel. They've done so good because I remember on the older screens, the scaling, basically the screen door.
Yeah,
between the pixels would mess with it.
It would look stretched or things just wouldn't look right.
Yeah, now it doesn't.
But
Looks
4K
good.
is just 4 1080p screens in a grid.
Looks fantabulous. Ooh, things are getting closed up.
Yeah.
You guys want one more question?
I want lots of questions. Keep shooting until he gets us buttoned up.
From YouTube, is overclocking worth it?
No, not at all. You probably... No,
Stressing machine.
I'm going to let John field this one because I
me?
still have a little bit of an addiction to
Okay.
overclock. I've overcome it. William has overcome my addiction for overclocking. Not really, because I still overclock the GPUs. But
Okay.
there's something about getting something for nothing, right?
Yeah, sure. We're not too gung-ho about overclocking ourselves, especially in a game. So most of the time you see people to CPU overclocking. CPU isn't where the bottleneck is with gaming.
Right.
So we just don't see recommendation. Now, video card overclocking, sure. You just have to make sure you know if you're the type of person that wants to tinker and mess with the hardware, and if you go too far, then pull it back. Great,
flame, buddy.
go for it. A lot of the people that we sell to, they're professionals, they're scientists. It needs to just work. Overclocking isn't really the right place for that, so we don't do it all that often. I say one exception might be in things like SolidWorks, where things are so frequency bound that we actually do see a significant performance increase by overclocking. So we're still considering it. We still do some mild overclocking, but we don't get into it as much as Jerry does.
There's limited applications where it's beneficial, but most of the time there's not a huge. You guys don't see a huge.
I mean, everyone's going to have their own take on this. My own take on it is that the risk isn't worth the reward. So I personally am not real, a big proponent of overclocking, but I totally understand people that are. I get it.
If you're benchmarking, if you're benchmarking, overclocking's fun to just be higher in
how
the
high you can
ranking
get.
list.
Sure.
But honestly, even like with the GPUs, I would say I've gained like 10 or 15 frames per second, which seems significant in some things, but we're talking in applications where it's already over like 150 frames per second, and I'm capped at 60 frames per second because of my screen. But GPU overclocking, depending on the card, can be totally worth it. And the thing is, let's be honest, the companies are obviously pandering to that now. Like a lot of the cards that they release, I mean, the software they release with the card, and the software it's almost like they release them underclocked. Like, they have not the Strix, but some of the cards they have the version they charge like an extra 20, 30
the
bucks
OC
for.
version of the top version.
Yep, and the funny thing is I've never seen a case
Superclocked.
where the non-superclocked card can't just go, you just open the software and say go to that and you get it. Sure. It's almost like they design the cards and back them off, like you said, for reliability purposes. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, if you do run a card, anything that's going to generate more heat is going to reduce life. I mean, period, right? So, and the fans, you're going to decrease the life of the fan too by having a massive heat buildup if you push everything to the absolute bleeding edge. I've noticed that with CPU overclocking too. Like my 3930K, loved that processor, absolutely loved it. I took it from, I think it's a 2.4 gigahertz processor, and I was running it at 5.2
Sure. Okay.
on water. This is my liquid cooled
Okay.
rig
Okay. Yeah.
for 4 months. Then it became unstable. I ran the voltage so high you couldn't hold it anymore. Then I dropped it down to 4.8. Then I dropped it down to 4.6, and I finally stabilized at 4.2 after a year.
Yeah.
I literally kept getting more and more unstable, and each time blue screen, going back and off, up the voltage. It honestly becomes a chore at that point. When you run so close to the bleeding edge where the temperature in your room goes up 2 degrees and your computer hangs, I don't like that anymore. That's one thing I like about William. It doesn't matter winter, summer, everything. The computer just always runs 100%.
And there are a lot of people that do. I mean, we like to make car analogies, and these are the same people that are tuning their cars. And we like to even say, like, if it breaks, it's almost a good thing because it's an excuse to get back in and tinker some more.
Oh, what do you drive? Oh, you got an S2000? Dude, I like the S2000. I test drove one of those. Nice.
Motor reliability.
Yep.
So for the people that have just joined fairly recently, there's been some questions about exactly what components you have in this. So would you mind maybe running back through the spec list again?
Yeah.
One more
So
time and telling folks what you have in this.
You want to do it? You want to do it?
Go for it, John.
Try to do it from memory. So it's a Asus Maximus Gene Micro ETX motherboard. We actually really like that motherboard. Historically, I have not been a big fan of the Republic of Gamers brand from Asus. You add more complexity to a motherboard and it becomes less reliable, but this has been a great board. So that's our motherboard. We're running a Intel 6700K. We're running 32 gigs of memory, and that's actually just two 16 gig sticks, so you can actually double that in the future. We have a bunch of storage. We have a couple 2 terabyte hard drives. Those are Samsung 850 hard drives. What else?
That's just epic. 4 terabytes of solid state storage. That's just epic.
Yeah, I think you wanted enough to be able to cache recordings, but then you're going to upload them to your NAS after that.
Yep, and mostly games. Like all the media content will come from the NAS.
Okay.
But the games themselves obviously can't come from the NAS. So this is going to be just installing my Steam library will take me over 2 terabytes.
Oh, really?
And that's not including the Origin library.
Wow.
Yeah, because I got like 200. I think I got over 250 games on Steam.
Jeez.
And then in Origin, I have the.
So how many weeks does it take to download?
Oh, forever. I've never downloaded the entire library because I've just never had the storage for it. Even on
I
William, I'd have to break it across multiple drives.
Wow.
But the Origin library, I have the entire Origin. Everything that's ever been released by EA, I have. Because when I went to PAX, one of the guys from Origin came over and was like, "Hey, you want a whole library?" And he did his little magic.
That's crazy.
And now I got all the EA titles. I don't think I get the new ones that come out. But
I just thought of something, so I should bring up. We're actually using Micron or Crucial. They're actually the same, 2 arms of the same company, right? Micron is a manufacturer, Crucial is a retail brand, but it's all the same stuff. Yeah, so if you see a model number with a C in front of it, put an M in front of it instead, and that's just the same part, just Micron brand. So really great company though.
Tech tip.
We're using them for DDR4 for a very specific reason. This is actually good information for people. Skylake, Intel Skylake, is a little bit picky about what memory you get put in there. And we found that Samsung. So you have the memory manufacturer, and they use component chips that go onto the memory.
Okay.
Right, and that's what's important is what those component chips are. And with Skylake, Samsung chips and Micron chips are good. Hynix, we have not had good experiences with. Though sometimes the mem test errors don't even show up. It'll just become unstable. It's just really, really bad. So for Skylake, you should really get Samsung or Micron chips. And that's why we're using Crucial memory in there. It's because it's using Micron chips.
That's awesome.
So another question from YouTube from Daniel. Hey Barnacules, as someone in the military often traveled, was just wondering what is a good laptop strictly for gaming that really makes sense in pricing. I would prefer to purchase a balls-to-the-wall laptop-wise, but not purchase one just because of the name brand and get crappy performance. Thanks.
Can I pan the camera?
There you go.
Get this one.
Get that one.
I can't know how to do it.
Here, look.
Here, hold on here.
John doesn't know how to use pan heads here. You good?
Oh.
That's the only song I know.
Sorry, I didn't hear the whole question because I started thinking about that.
Well, you're correct, except for he said on a budget. So unfortunately, that's probably not on a budget because the price tag on that thing I think is in excess of like $4,000 or something. Yeah, so we're gonna say probably for your application, that's probably not.
I've been really pleased with Asus laptops myself.
You know what? Jay actually got one. He swears by it.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the price is. I don't know if that's more in his price point, but Asus makes good stuff. I honestly, even build my old computer was an Asus Rampage 4, the 3930K that I had. I think was a Rampage 4 for Asus, and it had Asus graphics cards in it too. Because I don't know, it's one of those things where it's like I don't think I've ever had an Asus graphics card die.
Yeah.
And I used to get was it Zotac?
Yep.
I had a couple
Yep.
Zotacs die on me. Great customer support though. I mean, they did replace them when they died, but I noticed that they had a high failure rate.
Yeah, I'd look at Asus or MSI makes some pretty good laptops as well.
MSI's gets up there though. I think in price for like their gaming laptops.
They have a whole spectrum.
Oh,
But
do
yeah,
they? Okay.
they get into some pretty high end.
Oh no, I think they have like an $8,000 laptop. Like,
Yeah.
but it's got like dual
video
980s
cards.
and yeah.
You should see that. We used to sell kind of systems like that.
Okay.
And you actually plug in a Y splitter into the power jack and then 2 power bricks.
You have 2 power bricks going into the laptop because these graphics cards pull what, a couple hundred watts of power.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I don't know if that's how
insane.
they do it today, but that's how
Absolutely
it was back
insane.
then.
No, I had a friend that had one of the giant MSI machines. Felt like it weighed like 20 pounds. It was like this thick. Had RGB keyboard on it that was full size with the 10 key. That has a 10 key on it too.
You really have to think of it as a mobile, like a computer you can just happen to move around.
Everybody wants those GPU supports.
Yep.
Yeah.
Popular.
Yeah. All right.
Guys, I will put a link down below.
About GPU supports.
Yeah. So just bookmark the video and come back probably in a week or two. Whenever Amazon has the link, I will have it posted down below. Or just check Amazon periodically. Just type in what, like Puget Systems on Amazon?
Yeah,
Pop
I mean,
up?
we're only going to be having like 3 or 4 things on Amazon. So if you search for Puget Systems, it'll be in the first
Awesome.
page.
Awesome.
So we should talk a little about. So the assembly's done now.
Yes.
But why can't you take it today? And that's because this is actually just the first step of many in our system.
This is probably one of the shorter steps.
Yeah.
I mean,
kinda.
not as far as a human interacting with it, but I mean, you guys got to burn test these
Sure.
for a long
So
time.
I mean, after this, we're gonna have to test the hard drive. We're
Yep.
going to run mem test probably overnight. We'll run
Yep.
mem test. It'll get a number of passes. Then we send it over to our install station, and that's where Windows will get installed. We'll run a bunch of benchmarks. We look at the benchmarks to make sure they're in line with what we expect.
yeah,
for that
go ahead,
hardware.
go ahead. So which one, these stations right here, where does it go to do the hard drive testing and stuff like that?
Hardware testing we'll often do on the benches over by the TV.
Here, I'm going to go point my finger while John talks.
Actually, I'm all finished. I need to bring it over
Oh,
there.
all right.
Anyway,
Let's do mem test.
Oh, let's move the cart.
Sorry, we'll just.
Well, there's not a lot.
Should I try
To...
to chase off some of our viewers? Sorry, I'm not allowed to actually take my shirt off here because HR will call the cops. So I'm just kidding. I don't even think you guys have an HR, do you?
I guess it's me.
Packing back.
No, I was gonna say if you had an HR, I'm fairly positive I would have met them by now.
Lots of paperwork.
Well, there's not a lot to see at that station other than we hook it up over there and we run mem test. So that allows us to do like 10 systems at a time.
I'll just zoom it in. No, I'm just kidding. That's fine. All right.
Here, we'll take it over. Here.
Here we go.
All right.
We just need to take the power off.
Pushing the cart.
Place
Pushing the cart.
there.
Okay, here, I'll get it.
Get the-
Wait, where's
Just unplug it?
Oh yeah, just unplug the surge
I
protector.
got it.
Actually, here, I should probably loosen that so I don't destroy your pan head. Hi, Graham. Do you want to say hi to everybody, Graham?
Hello, Internet.
That's Mr. Volair himself right there. Going to CES, by the way. And I didn't get to go to CES this year. That's totally my bad. I got invited by a couple of companies, but it didn't work out in time for me. He even invited me. But Graham over here is going to get me some B-roll. So I can still do a CES review without actually being at CES. That's called phoning it in, John. Just kidding. Oh, here we go. This is the biggest tripod I've ever seen in my life. Hey, you guys actually enjoying this live stream? I cannot believe that there are still 2,900 people in here. We've been streaming for almost 3 hours.
Pretty crazy.
That is nuts that there is that many people here. Oh, sup, review by Gary. Oh, he loves the CPU braces too. Cool.
So at this point, that's where my job ends. Is make sure that at least for my peace of mind, I would like having the keyboard and stuff to plug into the front just to make sure that the USB 3.0 plug in the front panel actually stayed plugged in after I buttoned it all up. That's
So you
kind
guys
of one
test
last
all
final
that stuff,
test.
right?
Yeah, and once it goes into QC, either Josh or Ruben or I think also Richard is handling some
Yeah, I think we're
quality
talking about
control
doing that.
stuff. They test everything: the front panel audio, the
Every
USB
single
ports,
port.
the reset button.
You guys like check all this stuff off too.
Yes.
So When you get your system, you can actually go to the website.
So at this point, it has
cool.
finished our assembly step, and it is out onto phase 1 testing. And
Correct.
it'll sit here for about 12 hours or however long it takes to get
At
it
least
up and
overnight, and then I think Kyle picks it up, brings it back over there
Okay.
for install and benchmarking.
Yeah.
So this station is basically just to test all the hardware before you guys even mess with the software, try to install it. You guys are just getting through all the hardware.
really low level.
Low level
no
stuff.
operating system yet. It's just really testing the basics of the system.
Like the memory, hard drive, do you guys like writing to the hard drive, make sure you don't have bad sectors
We
and stuff
run
like that?
the manufacturer
Okay.
hard drive scan.
You want to take that?
Check that out. Look at that red flashing.
Oh, is there
Yeah,
red
the
flashes?
Strix,
Ooh. And look at this, very, very quiet Noctua fan back here. I'm actually surprised at how quiet it is in here, even. Like
yeah,
for
we're
a
actually.
warehouse.
I wonder if it'll be even quieter. So in the next day or two, we're actually going to be replacing all the lights here with LED,
Yep.
Oh yeah.
and maybe that last buzz will be gone.
So
No, it
yeah,
will.
The ballasts will stop buzzing for sure.
That'll be nice.
So you guys, oh wow, so you're not just LED bulbs, you're pulling out these
Well,
whole things?
it's LED bulbs. So you think they'll still buzz?
Yeah, if the ballast is still there, it's probably, well, actually maybe not, because the power draw is going to be significantly lower.
It will be less.
So,
We'll have to see.
So the curious thing will be if you guys notice a difference depending on the manufacturer of the LEDs, if they have that white noise, the RF white noise.
Right.
I had one bulb, just a generic Chinese manufacturer, and it caused huge
Yeah.
issues.
dude, I'm seeing like sunspots.
Oh, from looking up at the lights.
Yeah, don't look at the light.
Hey, can we just delay Barnacules getting the PC and follow it through every phase on the live stream? No.
You
No,
want to
you may
live?
not.
You want to live stream for another 48 hours
Yeah.
No.
over the New Year's?
Right.
No, at some point we will require some kind of sustenance.
So yeah, so at this point we'll just kind of real quick go through the rest of the phases here. So then it'll
Oh, yeah.
go over to install.
Pan
Where you
it
see
around.
this like matrix
Pan it
grid of
forward.
monitors,
Come on over. So this is the matrix.
and that's where it'll get operating system installed, and we'll run through benchmarks, make sure everything's running with the performance we would
Oh,
expect,
sitting down is my thing. Oh yeah.
and then to make Jerry run. After that,
Oh, damn
we'll
it.
after that, it goes into the
Grab all my
room.
cameras here first.
So it goes into this room, right?
It goes into the room that is now dark, but that's quality control.
That's where the FLIR, you can't see
That's-
there's a FLIR gun there. It's
Yeah,
really
that's where we do
quiet.
the infrared. It's much quieter in that room, so we make sure there's no buzz or tick or hum in the hardware. Well, that's where every port is checked. Everything.
Yeah.
There's a huge list of stuff that's checked in there.
Making sure I glued everything. Make sure for some boards have extra accessories like back plane USB ports and stuff. We're gonna install those and all that.
Yeah.
So the question, do you think William would be horribly insulted if we changed the name of that system to Houston?
No.
Because I think William got enough glory. Houston worked hard on this. If you guys think that this computer should be named William Jr., press 1. If you think it should be named Houston, press 2.
And if you do that, you can join the running gag that I'm sure Houston's had all of his life and is sick of, which is you can say, Houston, we have a problem.
Houston, we have a problem.
Hope not.
If it has a problem, I'm going to change it back to William. Just kidding.
Then
See, what are we doing
After
on-
QC, then we
Yep.
make a restore disk,
Oh.
and then it ships out. So that's the whole process.
And then it's into the luggage. The luggage!
Oh,
oh
Where's
yeah,
the luggage?
it's over here. I'll do it.
We have to show them the luggage.
that's pretty neat actually. This is pretty cool.
You guys want to come stand
So
next
everybody
to you?
says here
I feel
that it should-
manly, like in
It
proximity
should
to
be
you.
Houston. There's a lot of
Lot of twos?
A lot of twos.
Oh,
Lots of
you
twos.
All right,
guys,
Houston,
that's
I would like to
sweet.
thank you. This
Oh, you're
this
welcome.
system will now be known as / Houston on the
right.
Barnacules Nerdgasm home network,
Awesome.
otherwise known as Barna Vista.
Oh, right on.
See, I'm gonna mess with people. If you guys see a wireless network show up and it's called Barna Vista, you are within 1,500 feet of my house.
Try and join it.
But don't knock on the door. It's booby trap.
And you're gonna get people.
Ooh, that looks awesome. All right, so bring it on over. Let's look at this. This is one of the coolest things, and I could tell because John was like super proud of this. Like,
Yeah, I was.
when
this
we were
is my-
talking about
is
this
my personal
computer,
project.
John was so proud of this. Here,
Well,
I'll
that's
take this
because
one.
I've already used this to go on.
Do you guys like the
two
two camera
flights now.
stream? Do you like this? It's kind of cool. I'm digging this whole two camera
If they
thing.
like the 2-camera stream, type in 4. Let's see what happens. Keep messing.
Dude, that looks like, it almost looks like carbon fiber. That's cool. All right.
Oh, I'm doing the wrong one.
Dude, it's even got wheels on it.
Wait, no, I'm doing the wrong one.
I want to put like my real stuff in there. When I don't take my computer stuff, I am going to repurpose this luggage for my underwear.
And then this one. I got it, I got it.
Hey, Houston, is this capable of transporting underwear in the absence of the computer?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, sweet.
All right.
All right, so here we got the foam
So
insert.
the computer just sits in there.
Yep.
Then you take this ring, you put it over the top,
Button it up,
and you close it up.
and now you have a carry-on computer.
Yeah, and then this you have to look at your airline requirements because some airlines it's actually like an inch too tall.
Yep.
I have personally taken on those airlines for which it is an inch too tall, and
Yeah.
it was no problem.
No, I've noticed that too. I actually went in when I just traveled recently. They told me I had to put my baggage in that little calibrator thing that they've got outside there, and it didn't go all the way in. And they're like, "Oh, you're gonna have to check that." And I literally just grabbed it and smashed it down as hard as I could until it fit in there. And I was like, "Oh, it's just fine." And she just looked at me and she's like, "Whatever."
But then
just take it.
then you take it on the plane, you put it in the overhead bin, and there's like 6 inches of clearance. So I don't know
Yeah.
why it needs to be that short.
Why
Maybe different
airlines?
planes are different.
Why? Why Southwest? Yeah, I'm looking at you. No, just kidding.
But yeah, but then taking this, putting this in your car, taking it to PDX land, super convenient.
That is awesome. It just rolls around.
Yep, I didn't zip it closed, but
It's okay. It's even cooler when it's not zip closed. Ooh. That's cool. I think that are you guys? You guys might be the only computer I've ever seen that has luggage. Like
well,
that
like Pelican makes cases, right?
No, they make cases, but do you know of any computer manufacturer that you
No.
buy a computer from and it comes in a Pelican case?
Yeah, no.
I don't think so. Maybe a laptop or something, but not like a full.
Right.
I mean, this is like a rig you could take with you to CES and use in your hotel room. Is the rendering rig, and most of those TVs have an HDMI port on them, so you can just plug it in and stream right to the TV.
Yeah, yeah. We like it because we can take computers to trade shows. We have scientists that'll buy it because they want to take a computer to their lecture.
That's awesome.
So it's more than just LAN gaming.
That is sweet. All right, so this guy's just cooking and booking, and then I'll get this eventually. Nice. 4 gigahertz. Yeah. Actually, I got quite a bit of cable now. That's cool. Is that in frame, Graham?
Oh yeah, very looking good.
Running MemTest 86. No, the cool thing about this is you just get a computer that just works. It's reliable. And if you have a problem, you have customer service that's going to take care of you. Or in my case, they just live like not far from me at all. So I can just bring it in here and throw it through the front window. Be like, Jen!
As long as you're not stuck at home with a flooded river.
I know, right? Totally. Well, I think, is there anything else that we need to talk about on this live stream? Are there any remaining questions, Graham? Do you want to do one last?
One last, just
One last right here. We'll
hey,
do beard cam.
The
for
Element
this one.
Maker. The Element Maker is a great live stream.
Yeah, I'm actually having a lot of fun. This is cool. I wouldn't mind doing this again.
Digging it, yeah.
Yeah.
Switch back here from the beard cam. We'll go out to a wide shot here for some follow-up stuff.
Naked, manly.
Wait, hold on.
Naked, manly.
Do it again.
Nerdy, manly. John, I love you, but you are a nerd.
Thanks.
He's the biggest nerd I've ever met in my life. I love him. And Chris isn't here because he's a slacker. You guys remember Chris, right? You know what's funny is you heard that like people thought that Chris actually hated me.
Yeah.
Like because of the banter that we had back and forth. You guys got to realize Chris and I are actually like friends. We enjoy the banter thing. But they were like, "Oh my God, that guy is so mean to you." I'm like, what are you talking about? I love that guy. All right, what do we got for questions here?
So, let's see here. A lot of questions about budget CPUs, budget GPUs. People are really asking. They say, "Do more live streams."
I want to do
let's
more
see
live
here.
streams. This is fun. Now I got a laptop, so I can do live streams from like Starbucks and
Let's head back over to Twitter real quick for a last question.
Yep. Hashtag Puget
here.
Build Live. We're gonna field a couple of questions on here.
So Sean says here, as a system builder, I find this live build very interesting.
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
That's fantastic. Did a system recap of all the parts. Any last questions that you guys have? Hit us up on Twitter real quick. Puget Build Live.
Hashtag Puget Build Live. Actually, here, I'll just show them. Here, go back to the.
Hold on here. Let me go back.
Go back to the thing. Right there, guys. Hashtag Puget Build Live.
So I guess just really quick, a recap of exactly what you guys had in that.
Yeah, sure. Let me put this on the computer
Since
here.
there's 2,600 people, and some people may have not.
Can I touch this a little bit?
Sure. That looks cool. Let's do this. Nice.
Here we go. Final view of the computer.
So to recap of the specs.
Yep.
Yep.
So it's a Skylake, Intel Skylake build. Running in that's a Silverstone SG10 chassis. We're running 6700K processor, 32 gigs memory. We have 2 Samsung 850 EVO 2 terabyte hard drives,
Yep.
4 terabyte storage total. We have an Asus 980 Ti Strix edition video card, and that's important because the fans will turn off at idle when it's running cool enough. And what else? What power supply's in there?
Silverstone 650.
Silverstone 650? Or is it a Seasonic?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Seasonic.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
don't know, I was thinking
Seasonic.
Silverstone. Like,
Seasonic 650 power supply. We use Seasonic. We use EVGA quite a bit here. Really, both of the brands, really great brands. Reliable and quiet. I think that's everything.
So this is one badass HTPC, and it's going to complement the Nerd Cave bedroom. Because if you guys haven't seen it, there is a link down in the video description. Not right now, but there will be. Actually, there might be. I don't remember if I put it down there or not. Starting to get a little punchy here because it's getting late. but no, the bedroom is. I love to game in there. Everybody gets mad at me because I like to poke people and do the whole hashtag console master race thing. Because everybody's like, PC master race. What are you doing? You have William. Why are you playing on an Xbox One? Right. The reason is because the Xbox One is in the bedroom, and a high-end computer was not. But that changes today. Now there's a high-end computer in the bedroom. So this thing's going to be a Steam box. It's going to be a media machine. It's going to be an emulator for every conceivable console ever known to man. This is going to be everything. And the cool thing is we also have another plan for this box, and that is we're going to be building another HTPC for the living room in my house, which is basically my wife's domain. That's basically her TV, and I take the projector and the 500 watt surround system and everything because I appreciate it more. But anyways, we'll be able to use the power of this machine to basically stream to the lower powered machine that's going to be even a smaller form factor than this. It's going to be itty bitty little guy out in the living room, and that way I can game in either room utilizing the performance of this. And I think the response on this, would you be interested in doing another live stream?
Yeah, for the little build?
Yeah. I think we should. Oh, yeah, you're on board. Hey, Beardosaur's all in.
I think it'd be cool.
No, I think we'll definitely do this because this was, you guys really enjoyed it. And,
that'll be interesting. I mean, so that's a much smaller build. We actually have to 3D print some pieces to go in there.
Yep.
That'll be a cool stream.
No, I think that would actually be really awesome. We should put a GoPro on the 3D printer, too, and get some time. People love the 3D printing time lapse.
All right.
That's going to be awesome. All right, do you want to do one last little Twitter question-a-thon?
Last Twitter question.
And then we're going to go find some food.
Let's see here.
Yeah. Beardosaur must eat.
I think we're good. I think that's it.
That's all the questions?
Last one that was on. Actually, hold on here. Let me refresh. A couple Microsoft questions. People interested in becoming PC builders. Again, more questions about those acrylic brackets.
Wow.
Don't worry, guys. The
All
acrylic
right.
brackets, I will make sure the link makes it in the video description. I'm fairly certain John will make sure that I put the link in the video
Let's do some
description.
sort of promo. Let's give away some.
We will.
Yeah.
You guys want that? You want a giveaway? Actually, why do I even ask? Everybody wants a giveaway. The whole internet wants everything
We'll
for
come up
free.
with something.
So, no, we'll definitely do that. That's really cool. All right, guys. Well, thank you for tuning into this live stream. This has been an amazing experience. I honestly didn't think that we were going to get this many viewers and this was going to go on this long, but this is epic. And a special thanks to Houston, the PC builder, who is now the namesake of my computer. Mr. Houston. Yeah, bring it on over here, Beardosaur. Come on, bring it in, guys. Bring it in. And always a special thanks to Mr. John Bach here, the Mr. President here of Puget Systems, and the boss and worker. They're one big happy family. And especially thank you for providing me with such awesome computers so I can continue to be lazy and not build my own stuff like everybody thinks I should because nerd is in the title of my YouTube channel. All right, well, I think that's... Oh, and Graham, here, you get over here, too.
I'll jump in.
Bring it up. Yeah, just jump in the back, dude, since you're like 18 feet tall. Yeah, you're just crouch down. And huge thanks for Graham from Volair. He actually very last minute came to help me with all this, and this stream wouldn't be 1/10 as good without him giving us all the questions and moving stuff around and all the logistics.
Yeah, that was
and
awesome.
He literally agreed to do this 2 hours before we came here. So, Graham, awesome.
Yeah, of course. Good job, guys. Well done.
Yeah, so we're going to wrap it up, guys. This will be archived on the channel as soon as the stream's done. I think it just has to transcode it. You guys can come over here. Thank you again to everybody. And if you have your questions, leave them in the comments. Come over and tweet me. I am at Barnacules. Check out PugetSystems.com if you would like to buy one of these machines and make sure that you put in the order. Please put Barnacules Nerdgasm on the front of it. And if you do, send me your pictures. All right, now I'm going to walk over and figure out how to shut the stream down on this computer. See you guys. Peace.